Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. What a crew we got in here tonight.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Okay, we got feedback.
Somebody's
We
got
got feedback.
YouTube on the back.
Who is it? Somebody's got it on in the background. We can hear it.
I got it. That was me.
Okay. Damn you, Blackie. I can still hear it.
Somebody else does.
That was me because I had to tune into my.
I knew this was coming.
That's not working.
Somebody else does.
Where am I?
That was me because I had to.
Hi.
I send you Merry Christmas.
No, she's not happy.
I promise you, this is a cryptid show, not a kitty cat show.
Oh,
You see that?
One black cat, and I had to bring another.
I'll show you our black cat. She's a black cat hiding.
You're going to be a big TV star.
Here, I'll get her.
Right. She's not happy.
Oh, we got this one.
Meow.
You'll have to watch the show, Erica, to see it. Anyway. I think she was on here last time Erica was on here. Anyway, I'll stop yapping here. And thank you, Chad. I appreciate the ribbon. Yes, we were a little late getting started, but you can blame the guy all the way over in the right-hand corner who is still chomping and feeding his face with the shirt that's probably going to be in big trouble here shortly. So,
Yeah, Calf Daddy was a little busy taking care of one with respiratory issues. So
yeah, that's not good.
It's
I'm already getting
weather.
roasted in the chat.
Are you getting roasted in the chat already?
This weather is terrible.
Adam, I see you're a slow learner. Yeah.
He's in good hands. We're training him well. Don't worry. Anyway,
Billy.
no,
Don't pay attention to Billy.
brother Billy's always ribbing somebody. That's what keeps it fun. Elaine Schatz is here. Hi, Elaine.
Hey, Lane.
Hello,
Absolutely. Anyway, it's all going to Adam tonight. We're going to turn everything over to Adam. He is basically taking over the show tonight, and we'll see what he's made of.
All right.
I've got complete faith in him. He's a good question asker, a good talker. As long as we don't say the D word tonight, we'll be okay. So, anyway, let me go across here. We got Blackie and Erica. How are you tonight?
Hey.
The cool kids.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
How did you give us the cool kids, by the way?
Why did I give you the cool kids?
Yeah, why were we the...
Because you're the cool kids. You're young, and you know. we know you dye your beard gray. It's okay.
Okay. I'll take it.
Thank you.
And the bearded egg, a.k.a. Jeffrey Barrington. How are you, brother?
I'm good.
It's okay. It was an easy question. He's all stunned like, what is he talking to me for?
I'm here.
Yeah, we know that. We'll hear that all night, and we know you're here.
Sounds like it's obligated.
Yeah. Miss Fee. Miss Fee's first time on the show with us, man.
Miss Fee!
You can see who the popular one is tonight. So.
We love Miss B.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate you being on here. And,
Y'all make me feel normal.
Brother Blaylock.
I'm here.
You see any bears today? No bears?
No bears today.
Oh, wow.
Beavers.
No, baby.
Beavers. Oh, boy. Anyway.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Definitely.
And, of course, we all know Cryptid Fan 94, Mr. Adam.
Adam.
And
Hello.
we had him on last week. He did a well of a job, and I got the brainstorming thinking, we could have an interesting show and let him get his feet wet, because I really want him to start doing his own live shows.
You should.
And he will. He will. We need a Monday nighter, right? We need somebody on Monday night.
Yeah, we got to have somebody doing Mondays.
So, well, hopefully we twist his arm good enough tonight. Anyway, we turn the reins over to him and just let him have at it. And
All right.
see what happens.
Well, thank you once
Join
again.
the
all you
dark
guys.
side. Ouch. Wow.
You joined the black sheep, V.
I forgot y'all could read that, man. So no.
We understand it's a Jeffrey thing, you know. But anyway, Adam,
Yeah.
it's all you, brother.
All right.
I'm going to
Alrighty,
sit here
well,
and shut my mouth and let you take over. It's all you.
alrighty. Well, thank you guys, everybody watching right now. Thank you for joining in. This is my second time on Old Line Cryptids, and they came up to me and wanted me to host the show. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never done this before." But with all of these fine individuals with us tonight, this will. Oh, will we time out?
Lighten up, brother. It's
Oh.
okay. You go all serious and shit. Lighten up.
Serious and shit.
I'm just picking on you. Go ahead.
He wants a professional show, Jerry.
Hey,
That's what he wants.
hey, let me just say
That's
this.
good.
This is our second time on the show, and we're not hosts. You got this.
Oh man.
All right, next week.
We're so casual.
There's me.
So, what I would
I
like
want everybody to have fun. That's the main thing. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that we would touch on mostly tonight is, all of your experiences. You guys heard me out on my experiences, so now I want to hear all of yours. And I think it would be really fun to dive in and dissect what you guys have seen, what you guys experienced, and yeah. So I would say we could go one person at a time and explain what happened. If anybody has questions, ask questions about it, and then we'll move on to the next person. So, with that being said, Jerry.
I knew it. I knew it was going to
It's your show, brother. I mean, yeah.
I think it's the order of the screen, maybe.
That's all good.
Yeah, it's the order of the screen. I'm not,
So,
But-
what exactly do you want to know?
I want to know your cryptid experiences.
My experiences? I have a few.
Experiences. Since this is going to be a little bit of a longer show tonight, and since we've got 35 people in here right now watching, there's
That's
also
it.
going to be a giveaway. So you guys need to pay attention. Give these guys your undivided attention, and we'll see what goes and happens.
Wow.
So-
Giveaway.
And
It's
Sean
really-
Collins, you said, bro, smoke a joint and calm down.
Wow.
Oops. I think
I
you're
think
first,
he
Adam.
meant,
Not hear anything.
I'm not
I
first
think
on
he
the screen,
meant
Adam.
the vape. We'll do it that way.
The vape.
Well, okay. I'm gonna get started because I'm sure everybody's got plenty to say. But mine started, I guess, 1972. What was I, 5 years old, I guess? And in the old rancher that we used to live in, literally, it's Flight of the Crow, 1 mile from where I'm at right now, to the kind of the south and west, 1 mile. And at that age, you get up middle of the night, you go in, run and jump in bed with mommy and daddy and go to sleep because it's more comfortable and you ain't got to worry about the boogeyman and all this other stuff. But anyway, I don't know what time. I mean, this is a long way back. I'm almost 58 years old, so I'm reaching way back on this one, but it's all memory. And I remember waking up. It was not full daylight, but I guess it could be like sunrise. And looked right out of the window. I was awake. I was awake. I know I was awake now after talking to my mother, which I'll get into on this. But and you look at the window, and there's this massive black, grayish skin looking thing looking in at you, and you're startled. So you look again, and what it's doing is it's snapping its head. If I'm looking in the bedroom, it's snapping its head to the left and back, left back, and it had this flap of skin underneath its chin area that kept flapping as it moved, which is that sticks in my mind more than anything. But long story short, there was a road on that end of the house that went up a hill, and the only thing I can attribute to that was maybe it was looking at a car going up the road. I don't know, but it kept snapping its head like something was catching its attention over there, and it looked back in. And then I remember nudging my mother and saying, "There's a monster in a window," and she's like, "Just go back to sleep. You're dreaming." All this other stuff. Typical answer, I guess. And Chad, lighten up. You're staring at me hard, brother.
Poor Chad.
Wow.
Sorry.
But, uh,
Poor Chad.
so and years later, I kind of remembered that I remember hearing a loud, like a kind of like a dude saw me, he saw me or something like that. And so this went on, and I put it in the back of my head because I was told I was just dreaming. And about 2017, myself, my parents, and Cindy were in the car together driving, and for some reason that subject came up, and I was told that it's that I was only dreaming, so et cetera, et cetera, and and my mother says, "Well, maybe you weren't dreaming." I'm like, I almost slammed the brakes on the car. I'm like, "Do what?" And she proceeded to tell me the same time frame her oldest sister, who lives 1 mile to the north and east from this location here, had the same experience out her kitchen window. Okay, I don't know what I'm missing. What's funny, but
Chad.
chat's picking.
Oh, nothing, Jerry. Keep talking. Keep talking. You're good.
I don't know. You got me worried
He's
now.
not staring at you anymore.
Oh, I got it. Okay. But anyway, so that's something that was in the back of my mind for many, many years as a child. Of course, finding Bigfoot got popular and et cetera, et cetera. So, but we got. I never got to talk to my aunt about it because she had passed away since then.
So
And,
do you think that it was a Bigfoot, or do you think that it was another type of cryptid? Because you said it had grayish skin.
Yeah, I think it was a Bigfoot. It did. It had the I remember a fat, flat nose, sort of, and its eyes. Its eyes were milky. If that makes sense to you, not like they were black, but it had like a milky film over them. I don't know if it has something to do with reflectivity or something like that. I don't know, and a little bit of longer hair off the top of the cheekbones down.
Was it giving off any expressions when it was looking in? I know
No,
you
the
said
mouth
that it
was
was
closed.
turning
Mouth
its
was
head
closed. It was snapping his head back and forth,
Okay.
and then it was gone. And I remember hearing the grunt or yell or growl, whatever it was, kind of pissed like it got seen.
Do you
The only
think
thing I
it
could put
wanted? Do you think it wanted to do you harm? Do you think that it wanted?
Just-
What
I
in
think
your
it was
in
just
your
nosy.
opinion? What did you think it wanted?
Just nosy, looking in at you. They are curious beings. That would be my guess.
Okay.
But the quick head snap kept looking to the left. That's weird. And the flap of skin, I just remember that flap of skin flapping back and forth every time he snapped his head. And I remember, I told this story first time on Spencer's show. And I actually was going to give it to Kerry Arnold, but unfortunately we lost him. But, and he said he's heard of other reports of skin movement under their chins. So, and
Okay.
recent to get into more modern times, and I'm sure I'll skip over some stuff, but trying to remember stuff. But here, the year 2000, especially, right down the street here, there's a huge X just out of nowhere. We drive by there every day. It's not even a quarter mile away here. We drive by that intersection every day. It's a small little wooded plot that has a Deer Creek runs through there. And it has tunnels underneath Route 136 that something could go through the water underneath those tunnels and go over into the Boy Scout camps, which has had a history of vocalizations and stuff. Of course, Wildcat too over there, but there's been some unknown vocalizations over there. So, and that's an easy travel route in both directions, even from here to Jeff. Jeff's only 5 miles from me, and one could leave here and get to his place and never be seen. Even in open fields and stuff, along wood lines and stuff, it could never be seen. So, but anyway, 2020 here is when the X appeared. And I remember slamming on the brakes, and I told her, "Look!" I backed up. I said, "Look at that! You can't miss it." And it wasn't there before. Okay, I went back and I checked the weather records because I eventually did go in there and get some pictures of that. One of the trees broke off, and the other tree is still rooted but shoved over. And the day and the day before, I don't remember the exact dates in my head now, but I did go back and look at the weather records. There was no winds those 2 days to blow that tree over. Okay. And that tree, I'm sure I would have noticed it. You can't miss it. It's like, boom, it's in your face there, you know. So, but anyway, later after that, in 2020, we heard vocalizations twice here. And any other time, I never really paid attention to it, but that if it happened, I didn't hear it. But the first time I was coming home in 2020, of course, we all know the big C word was going around. And in what I do for a living, I film truck and tractor pulling. There was nothing going on in Maryland. So I was traveling up into central Pennsylvania, which is 3 hours away, 4 hours away. And I got home about 3 o'clock in the morning was the average arrival time back from filming up there. And I pulled in, parked the truck here in front of the building here and dropped tailgate, get all my camera equipment and stuff. I never leave it in the truck. I always put it inside. And I heard just a howl, you know, maybe, I don't know, 10 seconds long or something. Then the coyotes started in after that. And I'm like, wow, that is so freaking textbook. You got to be kidding me. And I'm like, wow. And then it just, you know, after it stopped and then the coyote shipped for a while. No audio recorded this time, by the way. And I got my shit and got in the house. It's sticking around because it wasn't that far away.
I don't blame you.
And I guarantee you that was coming from that area down there. That was describing where the X was down there behind it at the waterway there.
Wow.
And exactly almost a month later, her and I left. I was by myself that night, by the way. And her and I went to out by near Mary Fabian in Needmore, Pennsylvania. We did some dirt drags out there, filmed them, and came home. It was just a little before midnight. I parked the truck in the same spot, and I got out of my side of the truck, dropped tailgate, pulled everything off to the, you know, into the tailgate, and I went around to open her door to get her out and everything. 3 long howls, 20 seconds approximately each one. One started, okay, then it came right back immediately, an octave higher in pitch, and then a third one an octave higher than that. And I remember Cindy asking me, "Is that?" I said, "Probably. Let's get in the house." Well, she had a few other choice words, but so we loaded up and got in the house. But that time, you know, again, no audio recorder, but I had another person that heard it, so that was important to me. And then not too long after that, probably in November, we were coming home from her mother's. Same spot, by the way. Those howls actually sounded a little further away. And Jeff, one day I'll show you where I think they were coming from, because it's the spot. The next spot down on 136 is, there's got to be something back there.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. And actually, somebody else we know had a report from down in that area. They saw one. Okay. I don't know who it is. Nobody's willing to come talk to me about it, but supposedly they stopped and made some noise and it ran off. So anyway, that's between the two spots. Anyway,
Man, y'all are making me want to come down there and have a camping trip.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely. You're more than welcome. Yeah.
Trust me, I've got access to a place that
Oh,
the state forest, but it's
that's on the other
Maybe a future video.
there's let's just say there's a family in there.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Matter of fact, I had to meet the one person today that's a brother of the person that was on your property that you've had some problems with. But
Oh God!
they're over there camping right now. They're over there camping right now, and I said,
Oh, God.
"Put over there." He just
Oh,
laughed at me.
he's
But I've talked
over
to him
there.
before.
They're over there camping right now,
They're
aren't
camping
they?
right now, and he said he would talk to somebody over there sometime about it, because sometimes they're camp hosts over there. But anyway, let me finish my
Yeah.
November. We were coming home from her mother's in Delaware. I'm thinking 10:30 at night. And you come down across that bridge I was talking about that the tunnels are underneath of, or the
Uh-huh.
big concrete pipes. And you start rising up a hill to turn left on our road to get to my road. And I've got 2 pale yellows looking at me off the side of the road, and they dropped straight down. There was no like a deer will turn its head or what. I mean, they came straight, and they were big. They were far apart, straight down.
Was there a silhouette or anything that you could
No,
see, or was it
no,
just the eyes?
high beams hit those eyes. I mean, they were pale yellows. And they were right there, man. And I mean, straight to the freaking ground behind the guardrail area.
Yeah, there's no
And it drops off
livestock
there.
over there.
Could you guesstimate in the size that it was, or
If
like how tall?
I'm going to put it, believe it or not, about 9 foot, because where that thing I think passed the guardrail behind the guardrail, it was staying, that land drops off pretty good there, and those eyes are pretty high up. You know, judging by what I could see. What I did was, I mean, of course, it raised chili bumps on my arms right away, and she was dozed off in the car, and I was like, started hollering, you know, woke her up. What's wrong? I put the car around. She didn't know what I was doing, you know.
Mhm.
And as I turned the car around, I couldn't see nothing because it, whatever it was, had done and dropped down and went down in that bottom. You ain't gonna see nothing down in there.
No.
What I did that for was to make sure I didn't get any reflection from a road sign on the windshield. I went down, crossed the bridge again, and came back, high beams back on, because I dimmed them down because the car came by. Actually, I turned around, and I turned back around, put the high beams back on. I wasn't going as fast, but there was nothing in the windshield this time. So I did that. I wanted to make sure I didn't see a reflection of a road sign, which there's one there, and yeah. It's private property. I've never went down in there to see if I could see any footprints or anything down there along the waterway. Uh, we got to sneak down there sometime, Jeff. Just to see.
Everything's private property around here.
But since then, I've really not heard or seen it. Yeah, I've seen everything but a footprint. So I don't know. You know, I've been fortunate enough to see the eye shine, and of course, as a youngster, I know what I saw in that window. I wasn't dreaming.
Yeah. And you know, it's crazy how when you're young and you have an experience like that, your parents will automatically go to the, oh, well, you was just dreaming. You was just dreaming. You was just dreaming. And like, no, I wasn't. I was wide awake and I saw what I saw.
Right.
I do know my dad was sound asleep. He didn't. He was on the other side of the bed, the furthest away from the window.
Yeah.
I will add this is when we're young, we're pure of mind. So I still say, you know, we're more apt to see things that we won't see as adults, or we'll question more as adults as well.
Yeah. And I know, of course, you think, well, did you see the Patterson Gimlin film? Yes, I did. I remember watching as a kid with my dad, my mom, and but it never scared me. And it's on the West Coast. Okay, there's nothing here. It's on the West Coast at that time. You know, it's 1972. How many Bigfoot reports were out here, Jeff? Think about it. You know, you've been doing some research here. Why don't you go ahead and tell them what our county can boast and brag about when it comes to Bigfoot reports?
And I can't wait until they re-release that book, because that's going to be awesome when they do.
In the state of Maryland,
I can't find a copy of it. But
the state of Maryland, our county has the most reported Bigfoot sightings.
95.
95 of them.
Wow.
And that's that's just since the 2000s.
Yeah.
That's not what was like in the 80s and stuff. It's hard to find a lot of the information about stuff in this state. You really have to dig around because it's like buried.
Yeah. I have a photo. We have a state park. I camp at quite a bit because it's close to home because of my dad. We can get back and forth real easy. And I have a photo. Jeff's seen it. A couple of you. I don't know if Blaylak's seen it or not. I think he has. I didn't share it around much because it's not definitive. But when I put it on my computer and just, you know, did a little bit of adjustments to it and stuff, but I still have the regular untouched version. Okay. There's no doubt in my mind there's something there. And prior to that afternoon, late afternoon, I'm going to say 3:30ish, I heard a tree go over. Honest to God's truth, a tree fell over. It was not windy. Okay, and I know trees can fall. But that tree, you could hear the boom, you know, down to the ground. I don't know how big it was, but I couldn't see it fall. It was back in the woods of the state park over here. And that night is when I caught that image with I call it a 5 and dime trail cam. I mean, they're not high dollar, high zoot anything, you know. So,
Is there any way that you could put up the picture right now, or is it in
Oh, I could. While somebody's talking, I'll go dig and see. Yeah, I've got it here.
Okay. Yeah, I think
I mean, I haven't went public with it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't expect everybody to look at it and say, "Hey, yeah, you caught a Bigfoot, or you caught a dog man."
I'd love to see it. I think
Yeah.
it would be awesome to see and like to show everybody that, hey, I took this picture and you guys be the judge of what I captured
And
on this.
it's pitch black there. I mean, there's no. It's a campground roadway there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dark. When it's dark there. I mean, it's black. And this camera picked something up. How many yards? Maybe 40 yards away, something like that. But I see it.
That's all
When I was looking at the picture, first off, I thought I saw something else in there in a different area. Then as I'm looking, I had to start glancing up, and I'm like, oh, wow. It really started. I said, you got to be kidding me, man. I've been told it's pareidolia and everything else, but.
Of course you have. That doesn't mean that it's true.
And I'm not picking on anybody that said that. I understand.
I've got a picture of something too that.
Yes, you do.
And if it wasn't for Elaine in the chat, I would have never noticed it.
Yeah, Elaine picked that up right away, and he sent it to me, and I'm like, I picked it up right away. I'm like, ooh.
Do you have that picture also?
I'll see if I can pull it up. I gotta go back in my records.
I probably have it, Jeff. I'll try to find it when I'm looking for it. I don't mind sharing it. I don't mind criticism.
Yeah,
I got big
I can
filters
put
on it.
I can pull up my footprint from Allegheny.
I've sent the picture to people that have absolutely no interest, know nothing about the subject, and at least one of them saw it right away. Quicker than I ever.
Allegheny.
Wow.
Allegheny, where at?
Allegheny, it's Western Maryland.
Yeah.
So it's like up on the border of
See, there's a
Pennsylvania.
there's a Allegheny in North Carolina. That's not
Yeah,
too far
there's
from
one
my
in
house.
PA too.
I've been
No.
to
I had an uncle that lived in Allegheny County, Ennis, North Carolina. Yep. That's
And I
not
was
too
like,
far from you.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
And
But-
Miss B, where are you? You're in.
You're muted.
You're muted.
That's because I have a habit of interrupting. I'm 10 minutes outside of Fort Bragg.
Okay.
You and Jeff get along good.
I know we always talk over each other.
Listen, we don't have the same taste in clothes. So
I sure hope. But yeah, I mean, there's probably some other stuff, Adam. Little oddball stuff here and there. I had an incident back here right after I redid my office here. I was putting everything away, and it's dark, and I had a wheelbarrow load of stuff, extra scrap flooring and a miter saw, et cetera, et cetera. And I was walking down the backyard here. I have a big hayfield behind us here.
Yeah,
that we used to do hay in, and a little shed. And I got a stench that hit me there for all of 15, 20 seconds. It just stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, wow, dead, like defecation, just horrible stench. No cattle here.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow. But poof, it was gone. It was just a real tiny breeze going. So did it blow it up from somewhere else? I don't know. But I never heard any movement. But that stopped me in my tracks. Man, that was rancid. And then it was gone.
If you, by the way, thank you for sharing all your experiences with us. Out of all of the experiences, what would be the main one that like sent the most chills down your spine? You was like, holy moly, what was that?
The eye shine. Believe
The
it or
eye
not.
shine? Okay.
Yeah. I was too young, to be scared of. I mean, you're in your house. There's a wall between you and it, even though it's in the window. It's not going to come and get you. And plus, I was there with my parents. Nothing's going to harm me when I'm with my parents. But
Yeah.
the eye shine was. I mean, it stood the hair up on my arms like right now.
Yeah.
I wish she was awake so she could have seen it. But yeah, it was scary.
Yeah.
And the vocalizations got my attention too. But that eye shine was like instant. Holy crap! Like I knew what it was. There's no doubt about it. The spacing of the eyes. I don't know exactly how far apart they were. But it was not a deer. I see deer eye shine here all the time coming in and out of the driveway. It is not deer. It was not a deer. So I can't tell you if it was. I can't say it was a Bigfoot because I don't know. I didn't see it. But that pale yellow is distinctive, and the width
Well,
of them, et cetera.
Yeah, and the thing I will say about this from getting to know you and Jeff, talking to you guys, how y'all live so close to one another, it seems like that's a pretty active area to where you guys live. Is a lot of people have seen these and had these experiences, and it really makes you take a step back and be like, what do we do? Like, do we need to set up cameras? Do we need to set up trail cams? Do we need to start a whole expedition of just these areas around here? And having 3 or 4 people stay in one place and 3 or 4 people stay in the other place, and try to figure out and try to get good photos of what is causing all this.
Yeah, I after the vocalization deal went on, I went right to Mark Newbill right away.
Yeah.
Chat with him every so often, and I'm like, all right, I got to get an audio recorder. Explain to him what's going on, and of course, I haven't heard anything here since. But he did turn me on to the Sony. I bought the Sony, and of course, then I bought that other thing Spencer was telling us about. But so I have 2 of them now, and I don't put them out all the time. I probably should, but I'm already past the time. I think in October and November is the main time frame for here. So.
And like I was saying, whenever you can, find that photo and share it with all of us so we can
Definitely
everybody can see it, and
if you're viewing this show with a cell phone, you're probably not going to see it. Jeff and I went through this because he was like, and I appreciated Jeff's opinion. He couldn't see it on a phone. I said, get your laptop and view the photo. And he never really did confirm if he did see anything or not since, but.
There's something
I can't see it on my cell phone. I have to have a computer.
Yeah, there's something I'm just not sure what I'm looking at is the problem.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a weird picture. It is. But I'll dig it up here real quick. And one more thing for you, where Jeff lives, we got to go back to the 70s, probably before Jeff was born. But I'm not picking it up.
I'm still there, the same place.
Their farm backs up to Rock State Park. Kind of, sort of. It's really close.
All connected. You can see the park from my house. It's not.
Yeah, the ridge and stuff there. But in the 70s, I remember a report coming through their local Aegis newspaper here out of Bel Air, and that a car struck a Bigfoot, a hairy animal, a large hairy animal. Okay, and the car had hair stuck in the bumper and everything from the impact. And it was kind of quiet for a while, and then you heard, "Oh, he hit a Black Angus cow and all this other stuff." I think if I'd have hit a cow, I think I would have known I hit a cow.
Well, yeah, and cows don't stand up on 2 hind legs.
And do you think,
right, Jeff?
Yeah,
right? If it's analyzed, do you think you're going to be honest about it? I'm not saying it was a Bigfoot.
And that was around the same time Pop found those tracks. Yeah.
So, I don't remember what year in the 70s, but it was, I'd say 75, 76 maybe. I was a little older, so from my experience. So, but and there's BFRO stuff. Not everybody reads into that stuff. But there's still localized reports here. Okay, from the 70s and early 80s, there's a story between Jeff and I now over here off of Bay Road. There was a report of Bigfoot, and up here, just across the Pennsylvania line, I'm 5 minutes to the Pennsylvania border, if that. And there's a couple big BFR reports.
And don't forget about the one that somebody saw riding a motorcycle through the Whiteford Flats.
Whiteford Flats, Route 165, which is for he and I both is probably
right up against the cars.
Yep.
And those cars were there.
I think Erica was thinking that one was riding a motorcycle.
No.
This is like a cartoon.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't riding a motorcycle.
And David.
It was just how the words came out.
1986 here, right before the house was built, We lived in a mobile home while they were building the house, and they were sitting out back, and
River.
River Mars, oh boy, brother River. But anyway, she saw something. We're getting into the UFO side of things. Yes, we're going to talk about UFOs.
Uh-oh.
Oh
No,
no.
that's okay. That's okay. UFOs.
What about the D word?
UFOs.
No D words.
No D word.
He was sitting there on the back porch here of that little trailer they had, and my dad was talking to her brother, who's an excavator. They were talking about what they were going to do with foundations and stuff, I guess. And before she could get the word "look" out, something took off and was gone.
Mm.
I mean, there's a bluish color, I think, or whitish bluish color. I don't remember what she said, but yeah. So that was something weird too. Not that far away. Just it would be kind of almost right from the area. And I'm talking about the X and the waterway and stuff. And something took off from there. She said, I couldn't even get the word look before it was up and gone.
Mm.
So, weird stuff. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing your experiences that you had. You know, all of them that you have had. I wish I could have been there and with you and had shared those experiences with you. I think probably the scariest one that you told for me would be Bigfoot looking in his window at you, and just being face to face with that. I mean, like
I would say today, if that happened to me tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, it would be a whole hell of a lot more dramatic now.
Yeah.
But
and you never know, like, unless you've been in a fight or flight situation, what you would do in that situation. Would you sit there and stare back at it, or would you reach under your bed and grab a gun and try to shoot at this thing? Or
no, I'm not going to shoot at it. But,
but thank you so much for sharing those experiences with us. So the next person I would like to share his stories with would be the one and only Bearded Egg. No, Jeff.
Oh Lord!
I'm going to take a nap because this is going to take a while.
We might be here all night if you want to talk about the crazy stuff that's happened to me. But
share a couple experiences with us.
Well, we talked about my big one last time. And, that was the one where I got ran out of the woods, and
You're muted.
I have to do that every now and then, just aggravating. You knew I was going to do it, Jeff.
Because I would have talked for 20 minutes without noticing it was on. So.
Take all the time you need.
So I've had a lot of there's a lot of things that could have been something, but the main ones were, the night that I was working on the deer stand with my friend, the one screamed at us and we got out of there. But there's other things that I would say we're going to be going into a dogman territory on this one. And that was West Virginia. And West Virginia, I will never turkey hunt on Green Mountain again after that experience. It wasn't so much that I could see it. Damn it, Sean. Hold on.
This is great. This is great. I don't know. I think you said he had to fart or something.
I think you got this.
Anyway, when we were in West Virginia turkey hunting, that is actually an area that that's been the talk of a lot of dogman stuff. A lot of people have actually disappeared on that in that section. It's right on the border, Randolph and Tucker, and it just has a completely different feeling when you go in there. It just feels dark. And I got that weird, just creepy feeling the whole week we were there. And I think it was the third day we were turkey hunting. I had gone up the ridge, and there's a lot of like laurel and real just thick vegetation. That being springtime, a lot of boulders and a lot of rocks and stuff. And I got to this one spot where it was like a funnel, and there was a blind spot in the turn. You gotta go around these rocks, and something just hit me as I was walking. I just stopped, and I mean, it had me rooted to the ground. I couldn't even take another step in there.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Something
Like
hit
something
you?
was
it a
telling me
smell or-
not.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that's what it was.
Okay.
My guts were like, no, don't go in that spot. And I was like, well, I'm just going to start backing up. It was bad enough to the point where I took the safety off the turkey gun, and I had it loaded with number 4 3-inch, which birdshot's not going to do too much, but the solid loads in my revolver would if I needed to. And I reached down and unstrapped it, which I don't ever walk around with safeties off, but that day was a different story.
Mm.
And I backed up as far as I could go till I felt like I could turn and go down the hill, but that was just creepy. When you've got when something stops you from going, it's.
I think more or less what that was for me would be hunter's instinct because if you've ever done a lot of hunting out in the woods, I mean I'm sure a lot of us have. I kind of touched on this the other day when we was doing this podcast was, whenever you get in the woods, you'll start to feel like something's watching you.
Yeah.
And especially you'll pick that up a whole lot when you're outside and you've done a lot of hunting before too. And I'm not trying to cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Well,
that,
this is what I was trying to get at right here is what you're talking about.
Yeah. And continue. Sorry.
But yeah, you're exactly right. That's what it is. And I've felt it before, but never quite like that.
Yeah.
I know I've had Bigfoot looking at me before, and it was never to the point where I thought, like, now I have told him to knock it off, and they've left, whatever was there left, but this just felt like a whole different situation. I mean, even when I got screamed at in the dark and it was less than 40 yards from us, I wasn't that freaked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it startled us. We took off, but I didn't feel the kind of feeling that I got that day.
Yeah, like
It's a completely different thing.
Do you get like a dread feeling? I mean, like
that. Yes, that one was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Okay.
And all the interactions I've had with what has to be a Bigfoot, none of it ever really felt bad. I mean, it spooked me, but it wasn't like
not like a threat.
Yeah, it didn't. You didn't have the dread. Like, I mean, I've found tracks. I've had stuff mimicking things close to me. All the things that I've experienced, nothing was as freaky as that day on that mountain.
Do you think it was a Bigfoot or do you think it was something else?
It was a Bigfoot. I think it was something else.
Do you think that it was trying to intimidate you, or what do you think since you got that dreadful feeling and you was like, okay,
I mean, it could have been,
off.
but I'm almost thinking it wanted something else. I'm almost wondering if I was on the menu, but I mean, we camped pretty close to there, and of course, all three of us were pretty well armed, and we had a big old fire burning out there, but nothing ever tried to mess around camp or anything the entire time we were there. So I'm just thinking that maybe it was just keeping its distance, maybe because it knows what those big sticks are. But I don't know. I think it could have just been checking us out. It's hard to say, but one of my friends, when we were hunting that week, I think it might have been the same day, and I think this was probably a Bigfoot. Something was tossing rocks into the creek while he was fishing by himself. As Miss V would say, poor Josh.
Josh just.
Yeah, he does not have very good luck. He was with me on the tree stand incident. but that he comes back and he's got his pole in one hand and a Glock 9mm in the other. Or actually, he was carrying a Ruger. I'm sorry, I got my ones messed up. But Sam was carrying a Glock. I'm sorry. Try to get this right, but
Jeff.
Anyway,
Can I say something right quick?
He had the pistol in one hand, rod in the other, and he's looking over his shoulder, looking at us, going, "You guys been here the whole time?" I'm like, yeah. He's looking back, and he goes, "Huh." I was like, "What's the problem?" He goes, "Well, something was tossing rocks into the creek, and bears don't have hands."
That is true.
Yeah.
Miss V was gonna say something.
Yeah.
I told my husband I was only going to be on an hour, so I got to get out of here. But thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We love you, Miss V.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Miss V.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, wait. I think Jerry's saying, hang on just a second.
Yeah, I was digging for those photos and I was muted. I couldn't get back to the screen here. Miss Fee, go ahead and tell us about your show tomorrow night real quick.
Well, we're just having a Christmas show tomorrow night for anyone that may be spending Christmas by themselves. It's going to be Dale Boswell having a little Christmas music. Might throw some Elvis out there. We're going to have Mary, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project on. We're also having Selena Dunn Garrett. You know, she's going to be the wife of the party. Jeff's got a link out there. Pat, Patricia Blue Eyed Northern has a link. And gosh, if I'm forgetting someone, I'm
Gary
so sorry.
said he might be available if you want him to come on.
Who's that?
This one right here.
I'll throw a link out. Honestly, people can just come in and rotate out. It's just.
Are you going to be around, Bernie? What are you doing?
I'm open. Yeah, I can be around.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if you're singing some Elvis on there, my wife's a singer. And she is like the world's #1 Elvis fan.
Aww.
Lord,
Well, Dale will
be
be
in here
on
singing.
with his Dale will be on with his guitar. We just wanted to throw it together for folks out there who don't have anyone on Christmas. So if you guys want the link, just hit the email right there. I'll make sure you guys get the link or hit me up on Facebook. If we have to, we'll just rotate out.
Yeah.
You know, we're good. Love all of y'all, and I'm sorry, but I did promise my husband I'd only stay an hour.
Thank you for coming on, Miss V.
We love you, Miss V.
Bye.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Back to you, Adam.
Well, Jeff, do you want to continue
Yeah, I
sharing some
can
of
go
your
into some
experiences?
other
Or,
stuff.
I mean, is anybody on a time frame tonight? Or,
Now.
okay.
Now.
Okay.
Look out, Roger. Your records.
Yeah, watch it.
Well, we're taking Roger down tonight.
Hey,
I can't
I
stay
like
on that late, but
I will
Jeff
be
can call
the
me when
one.
you're done.
I will be the one that dethrones Roger. Don't worry.
We rave until dawn.
It might take 2 cups or 2 pots of coffee and a can of chewing tobacco, but
If you guys see a can of beans or something come flying and hit me in the side of the head, that's my time for me to go.
Gotcha.
But anyway, there's been other stuff like with the deer stand when we were there that night. You can't it's hard to describe the amount of just the volume that came off of that thing. I've never felt something vibrate me like that. I mean, it was, loudspeaker, train horn, the loudest thing you could think of. When your insides are shaking, that's kind of freezes you in place for a bit. But I feel like everybody that's been on here has heard that story, so it's like it's kind of like with some of Greg's stuff.
There's no grizzly bears in Maryland, though.
No.
Just black bears.
Bears.
I am very interested, not trying to cut you off, Jeff, but this guy in the chat, Cons Squatch.
Squatch,
Yeah.
What is his profile picture?
I don't know what that is.
That is from the state of Pennsylvania. There is video footage
That's a white thing.
shot of an albino Bigfoot that was startled. That even all the debunkers have said that is an actual happening. That they
Like
think
the Alabama white thing.
Like I keep on looking over at the chat and I just see that staring back at me and I'm like, what is that?
Merry Christmas, Scott.
Yep, albino Bigfoot. Yep.
Merry Christmas,
there's
Scott.
Awesome, look who showed up, Squatch and Holler.
Hey, Roger.
Hey, Roger.
Dare I share a link to him?
Sure.
Hey, we will make the mark then.
Game on.
Roger's awesome.
Yes,
Wow.
the white Bigfoot of Carbondale. That is correct. Thank you, Mary.
The
Thanks,
white
Mary.
Bigfoot of Carbondale. I'm going to have to do
Carbondale,
research on that.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's interesting footage.
You can grab me some food. I need to steal.
Yeah.
Definitely go look that up on YouTube.
I'm actually going to go look that up right now.
Yeah, pretty cool.
There's a lot of things around here that I've gone back over the years and figured out. Like a lot of the noises that people heard around here. Once I started getting more into it, I figured out that they were hearing exactly what I thought they were hearing as soon as they described it to me, because I was like, well, tell me what it was. And they described it, and I started going back and listening to recordings that other people have caught. And I was like, you know what that was? He's like, oh, please don't tell me it was that. I'm like, yeah, it was. But there's been a few times, like one night, I'm trying to think of, this would have been, I was probably like 15. We were walking back from the neighbors right over here and got out onto the main road because my buddy's truck ran out of gas at his uncle's and we had to walk back to the farm. But we get out onto the pavement, we're walking up the road, and something steps onto the road behind us. And you could hear what sounded like, two flat feet slapping the concrete as it was running up the road. And we just took off. After we got past my grandfather's house and stopped, but there's I've seen some stick structures, and we've had I had something imitating a blue heron one night. Well, morning. We were getting ready to start milking, and it sounded like there were 3 of them. And I've seen a lot of blue herons, but I don't normally hear them at night, and I don't have them surrounding me on 3 sides. That was kind of strange, especially next to my manure pit. That was kind of a weird place for that to be happening. But it was one of the crazy, and it didn't sound quite like a blue heron. And I don't know how many of you heard those. I know Jerry has. That's probably not a common bird in Oregon.
Oh, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you have them? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know how they shriek, David.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounded more like something trying to imitate a heron. It didn't sound like that. Well, how do I describe that? It's more like a shriek that they make. I'll tell you, you hear one of those things at night, that will scare the hell out of you.
Random Sasquatch with Wi-Fi said they sound like Satan walking around in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah, they do sound bad. Have you ever heard those before, Erica and Blackie?
We've been around them in Dayton when we lived in Dayton.
What's that?
Herons.
But
Oh yeah.
very
Even
rare.
down here, we've seen them.
Very rare.
I've never heard one scream though.
Oh, they're loud, aren't they, Jerry? Yeah.
Yeah, we were rarely around them.
Yeah, we had never mind. We had ghetto heron up there. You don't make fun of them, they'll shoot you. So it's
we get a lot of them, but that was like one of the stranger things. And there have been times that I felt like I've been watched back here, but I don't see a whole lot of stick structure. Never found any tracks back here. Well, of course, we got more field than we do woods, so it's kind of you're not going to see, it's like little patches and stuff, so you kind of really have to pick your way around, and there's a lot of blowdowns and old stuff, and there's plenty of places for something to hide, but that ridge above us, it's full of places. I mean, there's probably 600 acres right there.
wow.
I have to say real quick, it was crazy because where we would have almost normally seen any blue heron, we were kayaking one day through the middle of the week. So normally it would have been the weekend, but it was during the middle of the week this time. And we did get to see bald eagles then. So it was crazy. You know, it always made me wonder how the population might change as far as where they visited. You know, obviously there's more of a crowd of people during the weekends as opposed to during the week. So I think that applies to really most areas.
So seeing more, blue heron and eagles, yeah.
It's crazy.
We've got a lot of eagles.
Yeah, we had never had that experience before then.
Yeah.
I mean, there were certain areas that like the news reported they would have their nests and blah, blah, blah. But to actually be out for us in the wild and see that, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I'm a burb kid, so there was none of that in the burbs. When we went down the river, obviously we're out in the country area and we get to see that stuff, but not in the suburbs. So
now this is going to be one of the craziest ones. And I still to this day wish I had been able to catch it before it got out of there. I was in the hammock the week we found, I found that track on that ridge line, and it was one of those things, you know, where you're laying there in the middle of the night, and you know you got to pee, but you don't want to get up.
every night.
And I'm in this hammock, so I was basically in a booger taco. And funny story about the hammocks. That adventure to West Virginia, I had bought one of these cheap old, thing was junk. It was made by the Chinese, and I'm pretty sure it was made to fit a Chinaman and not a 240-pound fat guy.
And it doesn't breathe.
The cloth, like the bug netting, I had to modify it to get in and out because they didn't make it wide enough. And I'm like, was this for a toddler? What is this thing? So I get into it in the middle of the night, and I forgot we had done some adjustments to it beforehand, and I didn't test it. So when I got in, it rolled, and I was laying on the bunk netting, upside down with my feet sticking out of the top, and my friends are already in their hammocks, and I'm just hanging there like somebody's gonna have to get out and help me. They're like, "Are you kidding? We just got in these things," and I'm like, "No, either you guys get out or I'm falling out of this thing." So they had to unzip and get out of theirs. And Josh is like a hobbit like me. He had to kind of like throw himself out of it. And Sam just stepped out because he's 6'1", and
Which is really tall to you. I get it.
now I'm 5'6". Spencer hasn't figured that out yet. But they get out and they get me reconnoitered in this thing, and finally I got tired of the bug netting, and I just took my knife and just cut it the rest of the way out.
Oh my God.
And then covered myself up with a tarp for the evening, and that was terrible.
Jeff, some of these comments, dude, looking like a 300-pound cicada stuck halfway in its shell.
Thanks, Pyro.
Pyro.
Was it Pyro?
That was Pyro.
For a toddler, was it like a little Tyke's hammock girl?
Was that Greg House?
No,
That was Michael X.
I don't know where
Michael X.
That's
That's a fat guy in a little coat.
well, the other thing that makes it even better about the camping trip in West Virginia, I accidentally grabbed my son's sleeping bag. So I was sleeping in a youth sleeping bag.
Isn't that what you would need?
I can't fit in a youth sleeping bag. I'm too big.
Why? Okay, yeah, okay.
But it was terrible. So, what, Jerry? You're
Adam,
muted.
you didn't know what you were signing up for.
You're muted again, Jerry.
Gosh, I said
Yeah,
the sleeping
I'm
bag's
loving
long enough
every
for you
minute
or
of
your
it.
son. It doesn't matter.
It's all good.
Well, it
And it-
wasn't wide enough was the problem. I
And it's-
couldn't get it to close over my midsection. Man, I'm glad Greg's not in here right now. 'Cause
Here, I'll call him real quick.
yeah. Oh, Lord.
Nothing but a serious cryptid discussion, Ella.
Oh boy, wait till you get to us.
We're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying.
That's what it's house sleeping.
Okay.
Train wreck on the way.
Anyway,
Looks like
Oh,
Jerry.
my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
Was it made
That's
by
hilarious. They're animals.
Garland? So
Oh God.
we're an hour in to the show right now, and
That's it.
this would be a good time to do a giveaway.
Oh,
Sure.
So Jeff, Jerry, and David already know what the giveaway is, and it's just something fun that you can put up on your wall or put together or a symbol or whatever. But one of the companies that I've been working with on YouTube, they're called Northwoods Bricks, and what they do is they make cryptid model kits that you can put together. And
Do they make hobbits? Little hobbit models?
I
Scared egg
don't
models?
think-
Okay.
I don't think that they have made Hobbit models,
What?
but
Hold on a second. Blackie, what in the hell are you wearing?
One of the things that you shot. It's one of the animals off your wall.
Sorry, Adam.
no, you're good, man. You're good.
Good God. I'm gonna fall off my chair tonight.
Adam, please continue. I don't want to be distracted.
Sorry.
No. You're good. You're good. But these guys have been really good to me. I've got 2 kids, and when I told them that I was starting a YouTube channel and I wanted to do reviews and talk about my cryptid experience and talk to other people about it, I've touched base with Jeff, Jerry, and David a lot about it. I want to build a community kind of like that they have, of all the people coming together and sharing their experiences. So they was super nice and was like, well, hey, let me shoot you some stuff over here that you can give away on your channel as well. And with that being said, they also sent my 2 kids some little model kits that they could put together. They're very, very nice company. It's a company owned by a husband and a wife. So what I'm going to do is give away a Northwoods Bricks Bigfoot model kit.
Awesome.
Very nice.
And
That is cool.
what I am thinking is to do this giveaway is we can either do one or 2 things. We can all come together and someone tell us their most scariest Bigfoot experience that they've had, or any cryptid experience that they had in the chat, and all 5 of us in here agree on it. Well, all 6 of us in here agree on it. Or we can put all of their names on a name generated thing and it spins, and whoever it lands on wins. So I wanted to discuss that with the rest of my
Sure,
friends.
baby, you do what you want to do, brother.
And so, yeah.
If
I would
you-
like to see it, I'm sorry. I would like to see it go to somebody from the chat or whatever. Whatever you want to do, though.
Okay. What do you guys think we should do?
I think if you choose option 1, you need to have a timer for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't get into the Spencer thing here. So
No, please
The
don't.
name generator.
Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project just said I do a random number generator.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think that's the
what
best.
Mary does.
So
oh boy.
what we're going to do is we are going to go to Blackie and Erica to let them
Uh-oh.
share their experiences. Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I think probably still, and I talked to you before about this as well, probably the scariest experience that you had told to me would have been you getting ran out of the woods with, it was your cousin or your friend, correct?
My best friend.
Yeah, your best friend. That was probably the scariest that she told me that would be scary to me. But I don't know what you guys would think that his scariest experience was. That was mine. What was y'all's thoughts on all of his experiences, and what was the scariest one that you guys got from him?
Well,
The scream.
yeah.
Screen.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're that group that hasn't had any experiences at all. We're the ones that, like, I've grew up with since I was probably 10, but getting the books from the library about cryptids, UFOs, all of that stuff. I believed in it because I believe there's so much more in this world, in this universe that we don't know about. I'm that guy. So for me, it was listening to these people's stories and being in, realizing that a lot of these people are spilling their hearts out with their stories and realizing that this has to be true.
Yeah.
People don't make these up in the amounts that these people are that we're meeting. You know what I mean? It's let me be serious. Well, this is big to me because there's people out there that want attention, and you know that there's people out there that are liars. There are people out there, whatever. But I have met so many people in this past year that really emotionally get into this, that are telling their stories and what they've seen, what they've heard, what they've felt. And I know with the way I am and believing that there's so much more out there that we don't know. People saying vibrations and me, I'm a dimensional guy. I believe in dimensions. I believe that there's other things going on that some people can't pick up, but other people can. You know, Jeff, all of you guys on screen, Greg, Roger, Kumbo, etc. You guys have experiences that I've never had, and you talk about them, and they're always the same. They're always, you know, heartfelt. I can't deny that. That's something that you guys are saying from the heart, that you're trusting people to, I feel, believe in what you're saying. And, you know, a lot of people talk about being able to pick up a lie, you know, and saying, oh, that guy's lying. That there would be way too many people lying, because the amount of people that we follow now and the fans that they have, or the people that are in that chat. David?
You okay, David? What are you doing?
My screen keeps going blurry. I don't know what it's my camera or something.
Aliens.
So I'm here. We're the ones that we got into this just this past year as a group. Like we met Roger Williams, Greg House, Daryl Denton, and Martin Groves. Those are the first ones we met. We listened to their stories, and like, you know, they tell them with a lot of or experiences. I won't say stories. They tell them with a lot of conviction, a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Heart. You know,
Emotion?
like emotion. Absolutely. And I'm not going to deny that of people, because, you know, it's that's a big deal when you're expressing everything that you've got about something you think you've seen, and for people to deny that is to me disturbing.
Yep.
Because there's so much that goes on that we're never going to know about, and I think there are people that you know, have the ability. Whether, like I said earlier, vibrations. You know, I talked about with a friend of mine, Mr. Billy Schilling, and Roger, about the M's in your hands, you know, your palms, and what that stuff means. And you know, I've got double M's, and I still haven't seen anything, but my wife has double M's, and she's had near-death experience, and she's seen some things.
Could you go into detail about what you was saying about the M's on the?
Okay, I can't go into greatest detail. That would be up to Roger, but from what I've read, that's a special thing. That's something that's you have the ability to see more than what the normal person that doesn't have the double M's have in their palms. I've just started studying that because I just learned about it. And, you know, she has it. I have it. Jeff, do you have it?
I got them both.
Jerry?
Yep.
I know David doesn't. David doesn't. So there's people that do, and you know, David's had so much more experience than I'll ever have. And as far as UFOs and other things, it's, but I'm still open-minded about that. I think to be a closed-minded person is it's not a good thing. And I think all the people that follow, you know, online cryptids and woodwalkers and DA and Mark and Becca, you know, all of that. I just think that these people are more open-minded, and they realize that there's so much more that goes on. And, you know, like earlier, Adam, you said, well, I'd love to be there for that experience. I'm that guy that wants to be there and see whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I will, I don't know, but I'm always going to be open-minded to that and never doubt somebody that has that story, because I've seen people cry about the experiences they've had. And that's touched me. It's like, if somebody's crying about it, then that's not something you're going to make up, because nobody's making money off this crap. You know what I mean? Yep. Not crap. Nobody's making money off of any of this.
Yep.
And that to me proves that there's a lot of heart in there. And I can't deny that of people. You know, I can't deny those stories. You know, I know, again, my wife has had a near-death experience. She's seen shadow people once. She's never seen them again. but she's very open-minded to all of this. Would you like to talk?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just watching the chat, and then I saw River and Billy. Of course, Billy. River was being funny about the double M's too for Morris, but it's so I can't tell you all the details of the M's on the palm of your hand, but I think there are different lifelines, like head line, palm line, heart line. It's just, I can't tell you all the details about that, but it's very interesting, and I would like to learn more about that. But as far as me, I have had a near-death experience. Real quick, though. Real quick. This is where my brain goes. All right, Jerry, I think you and Chad might have been born the same year. That's number one.
Wow, you're that old? Holy moly.
Number two, David, I heard your story, like the last week or two, and the pickle juice stood out to me because I'm obsessed with pickles. And then I got this gift for Christmas.
Yes, that's awesome.
That's just me. So anyway, okay, quick side note. But yes, neither of us have had a cryptid experience. I saw, it was like on Facebook, and I saw an event for the Cryptids conference in McMinnville, which is where I'm from.
Tennessee.
Yeah, McMinnville, Tennessee. And I was like, honey, I think this is definitely your style. I think we would dig this. We should probably go. And then we kind of hesitated. Then we finally went. And it was a Saturday. And when we got there, I'm like, let's, listen to these presenters. And it was Daryl Denton was the first one we listened to. And it was amazing. And then we listened to Martin Groves. And then, in the meantime, we're checking out the booths and everything. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so we're in there in line, and then we met Roger Williams. Like, if he had not reached out to us, we would not be a part of this group now. So I'm so grateful. And then we met Greg House, who's awesome as well.
And if you ever get
and
to
their
talk,
families.
And if you ever get to talk to them, I highly suggest it. It's going to be
They're awesome. Awesome.
some stories,
So
experiences.
So then there we go. Like, it's amazing. We've never felt such a connection. But at the same time, we've never had a connection. We've never had an experience. So it's kind of wild too. But Chad has not had cryptid. I have not had cryptid experience. Chad has not had near death, but I have. And so I'm not going to say that's anything, but I do believe that could be something to evaluate when it comes to this group and your experiences and the your experiences.
Have either one of you ever had what you would consider to be a paranormal experience?
Well, yes, I have. And he's had an experiment with that, I'll call it. But so I was 16 when I was found dead from a car accident, ejected from the vehicle. And anyway, they resuscitated me. So I was brought back to life that way. But I was still, I was in a coma for a few days. And but after that, I mean, there was obviously a lot of healing and a lot of different steps in different areas I needed to work on. Years and years and years, like at least 15 years after that was when I had my first experience with, I would call shadow people. And it was out of the corner of my eye. The first one was 3 children. So where we were at, where we lived, It was like an open entrance, living room, dining room, kitchen, big corner thing. And out of the corner of my eye there, at like our kitchen area, there was like a bar at the top counter there, and it was 3 children. It was out of the corner of my eye, 3 children there. You could tell they were kids. They were definitely not adults, but you could see the outline of their shapes, and you could tell with the height and everything and the size of their bodies. It was 3 children. Literally, probably like a split second. It maybe a few seconds at most. I did not have any feelings. I did not have any temperature changes or anything. Nothing scared me. It was just like a quick peripheral vision. And then, I don't know, it might have been months later, probably not years later, but probably months later, that I would have been probably more in that location where they were. And then out of my peripheral vision again, toward that corner wall was a man. And again, it was all black, like all outline. I wouldn't say shadow, but it was like all outline. It was all black, but it was like a Quaker hat is what I call it. I don't know the correct term, but that was the outline that I saw. Again, the same thing. Maybe a few seconds at most. I did not feel any harm at all. I really didn't feel anything. It was just like a screenshot, like a visual image in my head. No emotional feelings. That's what it was. And then it disappeared. Thankfully, because I wouldn't want it the other way. But, and then I haven't had anything since then. And that's probably been at least 8 years, I would say.
Yeah, about that.
I don't know what triggered it. Nothing was happening. There was no anniversary. There was no significant date. Nothing stood out about it. And thankfully, nothing was emotional or scary about it.
Do you feel that after you had these experiences, do you feel like that you closed yourself off to these things, or do you?
No, because I don't feel any different before then than I did after those events. Like I was and will never be like welcoming, because we've been to many different haunted sites, whatever you want to call it. Like I've had other experiences too, but like the afterworld has always intrigued me. And I could talk about that a long time. It's probably not the right show, but I'm like, because when we lived in Ohio, I'm like, the Mansfield Reformatory, I went and visited there and did the tour, and that was awesome. Like, I'm totally into structures and architecture, and I love all of that. But the haunting part is what I'm not going to mess with, because they have probably more around like Halloween. They're like, yeah, stay for the night and we'll scare you or whatever. You have free reign over whatever. I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to invite anything. I don't want anything to follow me. I'll put it that way.
To add on to what she's saying right now, I heard a very interesting conversation on YouTube. It was talking about fortune tellers and, talking about in the paranormal realm and everything. There was an individual that was on there saying that, fortune tellers are actually, he didn't really come out and completely say that fortune tellers were demons, but he came out and said that fortune tellers were more or less influenced by demons. Mm-hmm. And the reason why, and he brought up a really good point about it as well, is because he said, well, you got to think about it. What is the one thing that these fortune tellers mostly get people coming and asking them is, what does my future hold? What does I want to get in touch with a relative that has passed away. And he came up with the point that, if you think about it, and this goes back to, I saw a comment in the section when she was explaining what she had saw was the black-eyed children. These demons can basically manipulate any way that they want to do. For example, let's say that a grieving mother goes to see a fortune teller, wants to see if she could get in contact with her son or her daughter that had passed away. Well, that opens up the spiritual realm of, a demon feeds off sorrow, negative energy, all of these things. And, what I was getting at with what I'm saying right now is you were saying that you don't want to bring any of that stuff back with you or anything. And, I think that's a really smart decision on your part that, okay, I'm not going to go up there and have any of those experiences or bring anything home with me, because you never know what you're bringing home with you. As I talked to Jerry, Jeff, and David about, I know an individual that had a demonic possession and actually went and talked to a priest, and literally the priest told that individual, you have some kind of demonic attachment.
Wow.
But I know that kind of went off the
No.
the other way, but no, what you said, it really struck a thought with me, because you said, okay, I don't want to take anything home with me. I was like, okay, that is really, really, really smart on her part.
But here's the crazy thing. Now that you're saying that, my mom passed away unexpectedly. I'm not going to say around that time, but she passed away unexpectedly at an age that was way too young. And the situation was not great. I mean, it was totally unexpected. I always say it would have been easier if it was a car wreck that she had died from. It was crazy. So that I feel that connection with that, because maybe it could have been, a connection or an attempt at a connection that way. But I just, it was not, it was such a traumatic event that I was shut down for a long time. But those things weren't related. But if you look at the overall picture, it probably was. So I do appreciate, Adam, that you mentioned that, because there could have been a connection. It makes sense to me.
And I will say this, I'm not saying that there was a demonic entity following you around or anything like that, but I think I'm sorry to cut you off, by the way. Just go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just think that, that's an example of that they're stronger than we realize.
Mm-hmm. I will have to say I'll touch base with one of the experiences that I heard one of my friends tell me that was kind of really made me realize that, okay, maybe I shouldn't dabble in, the paranormal realm or anything like that. My brother's ex-wife's dad was a young man at the time, and he was hanging out with one of his friends, and his parents had a trailer behind their house that obviously was just sitting back there. But, when you're 16, 17 years old, you go back there, you can sneak in the mom and dad's refrigerator and get the beer and get everything that you want and run out there, go to the other trailer. And, so obviously that's what they did. And they was back there drinking, have a great time. You're a teenager. Of course, that's what you're going to do. So, they got they got to the point where they'd had their fun, drank their beer, everything, and they decided that, they're just going to go to bed. And I don't think that I had shared this with Jeff and David and Jerry, but in the middle of the night, my brother's ex-wife's father, woke up, and standing at the edge of the bed was a cloaked figure. It was completely cloaked.
Huh.
And this thing he could see through, but it had a cloak over it. And he was absolutely froze. He didn't know what to do. He was in shock. He was scared to death. This thing legitimately walked or hovered over to the side of the bed, was able to grab the covers and picked the covers up and pulled the covers up closer to his neck and left them there and stood back and disappeared. They don't know what it was. It freaked him out to the point that he would never go back out there again, but it was a cloaked figure. I mean, imagine tonight, imagine you're laying down in your beds tonight and you wake up and you look and my phone is going off. I'm so sorry.
I'm guilty.
I'm doing it now.
But it's standing right there. You really don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And it comes up and you think that this thing is going to harm you or whatever, but all it really does in general is pull the covers up closer to your neck and backs up and disappears. Do you think that's an evil entity, or do you think that's a ghost, or whatever you want to call it? There's so much to question when it comes to the spiritual realm. You don't know what it was.
I have a very, very weird statement to make right now. And I don't even this is not negative at all, please. My sweet granny is turning 100 this weekend. 100 years old.
That's awesome.
And
Happy
she's amazing. So it's my mom's mom. She obviously lived past my mom and then past two of my mom's siblings. And she's a godsend. I mean, she's so amazing. Mentally, she is there. But the most comfort I've ever felt is her, pulling up the blankets and doing sweet, sweet things that nobody else would do. So it's so crazy, to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't, nobody knows how they would react to that. You can think about, if you hear the story, what it means to you, but to actually live through a shape or a being that you don't know, and this feeling of, I don't know what this is, right? I have no control right now. That completely changes everything. I just don't even know what to say, but it could be comforting for some people depending on the situation. It's too much to not know, how you would react.
So with that being said, do you guys think that people should explore the paranormal realm, or do you think that's one of those things that should be left alone?
Yeah.
I explore it. I mean, I feel that, again, I'll say it, there's so much more going on. Explore it, accept it if you want to. I mean, I know back in the day, I had a Ouija board, and I was like, hey, you want to do a Ouija board? And she's like,
No.
Hell no.
Never.
Mm-mm.
I won't touch that.
Again, with never having any experience in anything, I've never had, at the time, I never had a family member die that was close. But, her mother passed, and her having been in a car wreck at 16 where she died and then was brought back to life, I would probably go with her now and accept what she says. But
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I say something to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So you brought up something I was thinking. My grandfather just passed away last year at 93. And In fact, the anniversary of that will be coming up on January 7th, I think.
Sorry about that, brother.
And he was here for the most of the time. The farm's a century farm. It's been here for 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so he lived here that entire time, almost. And he was born here. He died here. My grandmother, well, not my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, all three of them passed on this farm. And I have felt the presence several times. They're all still here. I know my dad saw Marie, which was my great grandmother. I feel like once you're either open to it and you're either like, I guess you could say, touched or something. I don't know, but I've had so much weird stuff from that to Bigfoot, everything else. And I know that my great grandfather, I've sensed him in the barn a few times. He actually died in our milk house when he was, I can't remember how old he was, but he actually was scrubbing the milk tank because, you just had to keep that stainless steel spotless. And he was probably almost as old as my grandfather. And he actually, they don't know, they found him in the room. They don't know if he had a heart attack or if he just fell off the stool, but they found him in there.
Yeah.
And there's been times I've been in the barn at 4 o'clock in the morning, and the way you step down in the milking parlor, you kind of can feel the weight shift when someone steps onto the grate. And I'll be in there by myself, and I'll feel somebody stand down on those metal gratings.
Well, let me ask you this. Oh, I'm sorry, but let me ask you this. Would you rather feel that, or, is that a comfort feeling? Like you feel like...
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, okay. So it's not a bad feeling.
Yeah.
It's not.
Probably just unstabilizes you for a second. Like you got to catch your balance.
I have friends that have been that they've got houses that I've been there plenty of times when weird stuff has happened. And in fact, my one buddy, one of his ex-girlfriends, we're pretty sure that something was following her around because weird stuff would happen, but it was like only when she was there.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was...
I had a pretty weird experience today as well, to come to think of it. I was actually walking off the front of my porch, and there's literally nothing around there. And I was actually walking to my Jeep to get some stuff out of the Jeep. And as I was walking, I felt something that felt like wasn't really a hard hit or anything like that, but it felt like somebody, just popped me on the arm. And I turned around and I looked, and there was no trees, no bushes, no nothing around. It just felt like somebody just walked past me and popped me on the arm.
I feel like all of this stuff is intertwined somehow because
I agree.
I've had all sorts of odd stuff happen from, cryptids to paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts.
Adam, I said, we can go into it later if you want, but I was always taught from a young age, we respect the cemetery. We respect those who have died before us, and we go visit them on anniversaries. It's just, to me, it's all about family and respect. And that seems to be kind of a lot of a lost virtue, if you want to say, but my mom was always like, turn the radio down, turn the volume off or whatever. Like if we're just driving through the cemetery, it's like, not even if we were delivering flowers there, it's all about respect. And I feel
Well, if you saw,
like,
if you saw like a funeral, a bunch of cars going
oh
by,
yeah,
a band,
for
or
sure.
take your hat off, and while they buy and everything, it's just out of respect.
Even turning music down in a car.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was just like, and it's crazy to think about, like the first time or two that you hear it, but then it makes sense. Like once you feel it, then you understand, and then you know what that respect is about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have any of you ever sensed like one of the family members that have passed and you talked to them? Because I've done that. Yeah.
My dad.
I don't think that I have.
Okay, so I don't have the experiences that you all have, but I will say this: I've had some dreams where my grandmother was in my dream. She used to take me to movies when I was a little kid. We'd go to these little shitty theater where I lived.
Don't say that.
And we would watch these movies.
That is so sweet.
But we would watch.
Take you to the movie theater.
She was like a Peter Falk fan. We'd see these silly movies, and it was like a big deal to me just to go to the movies with my grandmother. I would skip out on family functions as I got older because of the rest of my family. My dad, my dad's brothers would argue, fight, and it was like I don't want to be involved in all this crap. But my grandmother passed, and I felt really bad for not going to all those events just to be with my grandmother. And I had a dream one night, my grandmother like holding my hand, and she was like, I love you, always know that. And this was years after she passed.
Yep.
And then my dad did this. I had a dream with my dad the same way where
Did she dance with you?
No.
Oh.
But I had a dream, my dad and I were really not real close. I mean, I've got rebellious anarchy tattoos on me. I was like the anti everything. But as I got older and when my dad passed away, I realized that I did love my dad. He did a lot for me. And I'd have these dreams where my dad would like put his arm around me and say, don't worry, everything's going to be okay.
Yep.
I didn't know what to think of that. I was like, it wasn't.
But he wasn't that way when he was alive.
Right.
So that's kind of the weird part about it. It's not like what you were used to, but it's kind of like coming to terms with here we are now.
So maybe someday we can talk about dreams. That's a whole nother subject.
I would love to be here.
It's just something that like maybe threw me more into all of this. It was like that was too real. I woke up and I think I said something on your guys' show the other day about deja vu. And
happens to me all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like, have I experienced this before? Why am I experiencing this again? But those memories were something that I never thought I would have. But when my dad jumped in my dreams, my grandma jumped in my dreams, it was something like, okay, these aren't normal dreams. These aren't people you don't know. I'm actually seeing faces. They say when you dream, you don't see faces of actual people. You just wake up thinking those are the people you're dreaming that are in your dream.
Yep.
But I was dreaming the people that were there. My dad, I know what he looks like. My grandmother, I know what she looks like. Those were the people. And that's what freaked me out. Is like, this felt real. When I woke up, I thought this happened. Yep. So, just saying.
That's kind of, you was talking about your grandmother. My grandmother's death was the day after Christmas. Ouch. And, it's always a rough time of the year for me, my mother, my brother, and everybody. I remember when she passed away, she was in a nursing home when she passed away. And I went and stayed with my grandfather after that happened because, it absolutely broke my heart because my grandfather looked at me. I was in the room with my grandfather when my grandmother passed away.
I was there with my grandfather. I was there with him when he passed.
And he looked at me and, no no tears, no nothing, anything like that. My grandmother was very religious, and my grandfather's very religious. But what really just absolutely tore into me is he looked at me, and I was giving him a hug after they had announced that she had passed, and he looked at me and he said, "I lost my best friend."
Oh man,
And I was like,
you gotta walk away from that.
yeah.
Ugh.
And I remember driving him home that night and helped him to bed. And I sat up in the chair that my grandmother used to sit in when she started getting sick. And I started falling asleep. And then it was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and something told me to get up and go into my grandmother's room. And as I rounded the corner to go into my grandmother's room, I felt what was like a warmth. It was a warmth like something had, or someone had put their arms around me.
Yeah.
And I shit you not, guys, as soon as that happened, I got a smell of my grandmother's perfume. And when that happened, I just absolutely broke down. I just absolutely broke down. And but
Can I say?
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead, David. No, go ahead.
I got two things that kind of were interesting to me. One about like feeling or seeing people that have died around you. So my mom had a slow death of COPD, and it was really slow. And the closer she got to dying, the more she would be sitting there talking to herself, seemingly herself in the room. And my sisters were taking care of her, and they'd be like, "Mom, who are you talking to?" And my brother Charlie, my older brother Charlie, had died like 10 years before that. She said, "I'm talking to Charlie, standing right there."
Yep.
And so I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was like the deja vu. I heard this, and I don't know where I heard it from. Kind of interesting concept of it. They were saying that time is a little advanced from our reality. Like time is happening faster ahead of our reality. So a thought or an action in time happened just a split second before your reality of that time. And that's how they explained the deja vu. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, David. Two things. Because we've talked about that with, I can't think of the right word right now. But the other part is, Chad's mom took care of her mom. And she was, I forget what she was diagnosed with, but she had like 6 months to live. And his mom was a registered nurse. You know, she was clearly capable and trained of, taking care of her own mom, better than any healthcare worker that she could have known. So she did. Yeah. So that 6 months of life left turned into like a year and a half, 3 years, excuse me. Yes. But she was bedridden for that long. And, I met her through the years and we talked. But it was crazy because toward the end, and when I say that, it wasn't like 2 weeks to the day that she died. It was a while before she died. She was hearing voices and speaking to no one. You know what I mean? Like what we would hear, speaking to no one. But it, like, we don't realize, we don't know what they hear, but I absolutely believe that it's part of not the experience, but part of the change of life. I don't know what you would want to call it. Like, I feel like we connect to the other side, maybe, if that's what you want to say. We don't realize, we're living our normal everyday lives right now, and we don't realize what it's like.
Yeah.
We can't tell you when it's just a Monday and we're going grocery shopping, or, this is our normal work week or whatever. It's not the same. But when you connect differently, and I wish that somebody would have told me before they unplugged, all the cords to my mom, that once they're dead, that body color changes. Come on now. I wish somebody would have told me that, because that makes it so much worse to deal with the trauma that you're already dealing with.
Yeah.
But there are so many, we don't know. The other part was, I never know how to explain this, but dealing with not the other side. I don't want it to sound creepy. It's kind of that way, but not. Like, the alleyway thing in the Signs movie is always like my go-to.
Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
The other world, Chad is so good. The parallels or whatever. Chad's so good at this. I'm not. But the dimensions. Okay.
Well, that's not what I want to. I want to say that as far as like with my grandmother and my mom would wake up in the middle of the night and hear my grandmother at 90 some years old talking and having a conversation with somebody. And apparently it was people that she knew that have already passed, which, it was like, okay, I'm the open-minded guy. That's amazing to me. And I believe that, because I think, like, okay, so we'll go as a kid. I talked about this with you guys last week on Old Line. Kids see things that we don't see because they're not drinking as much of the water that we drank with the fluoride and the pineal gland. Anyway, they see more than we see.
Yep.
And I think as you pass away, when you get that age, that you're so much more open to spiritualism, God, that you see more than what you're going to see as we're all sitting here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know there's a lot of spiritualistic people and religious people sitting around right now, but most of them are going to go by what they see in the Bible, and that's great, because same thing. But I think there's a lot of people that see things that on their verge of death are talking to angels or whatever, or their friends that have already passed saying, hey, come to the light. Come join us. You're going to have a great time, whatever. Let's play some golf. There's some great golf courses up here. There's some great hunting, Jeff, up here. Come on, let's go. I think that's what happens when you pass away. We don't just die. We just don't get buried in the ground and that's it. There's something else that happens. And this is what I believe. Maybe we step into another dimension and our life starts all over again. It's maybe we are living, we step into another dimension where we've already been living, and it's another, maybe you've already owned, Jeff, maybe you've already owned other cattle farm and whatever. You don't know that. I mean, there's just so much we don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a lot to think about, but don't be closed-minded about it. Just tell people to just keep believing, because you again, question everything. There's just so much that can happen that we don't know about. What if the Matrix is true and we're just a part of it and living in the cat's collar that we talked about last week, where the universe is there, and there's just so much.
Yep.
I'm going to get a lot of hate for this tonight, but whatever.
No.
I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about. And I just think that we need to think more about it. Between God, between heaven and hell, there's a lot of stuff that we live in this life that, anyway.
There's a
Well-
question for you two, real
Yeah.
quick before you move on there. If you can see it on the screen.
It's a question for Erica and Chad. My
Hey,
watch
Richard.
stopped at 12:34 Christmas morning. What's your take on that? We spoke last week about
Wow.
Well, River, I'm not a professional, but my friend Billy and I have been talking about these numbers, and I think that it definitely means something. I don't know what it means. I know that I've since I was a kid, 1111 was my thing, and it wasn't from me being an adult later in life and going, "Oh my God, 1111 means something." It was like 1111 was when I woke up all the time. Go to bed at 8. Go to bed at 9. My parents would say as a kid, you got to go to school, but I would always wake up at 11:11. Roll over, look at the clock. It's 11:11. I don't know what it means, but it baffles the heck out of me. I would love to learn that it means something important. I've heard angel numbers. I've heard devil numbers. I don't know, but again, open-minded. Somebody wants to tell me what it means, that'd be great.
Where'd our host go?
Hello.
Hey, this ain't lunchtime. Yo, Adam. Hey, I'm gonna. Gary is really pushing the likes up there. I really appreciate you, Gary. Merry
There you go, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
He's awesome.
Gary rocks it.
Every channel I see him on, he is pushing for us.
He's on every channel, isn't he?
That old
Yeah.
Gary
Yeah.
slap.
Gary's awesome.
Awesome.
Even the channels he's not moderating on, he goes in there and pushes everybody. So
I had real
Love
quick
it.
before
Such a
Adam comes back.
teacher. Is he okay now? Everything's good?
I'm not sure.
yeah, I don't know.
It's Gary.
I had one Ouija board experience one time.
No.
Okay.
Tell me about it. Let's go.
And it was several of us, but I'm like, what is this all about? And everybody told me, I don't blah 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 blah. So all right, so I tried it, and I'll tell you what, we all had our hands on that thing or whatever, and it just moves. It started moving everywhere. I
Tell
let
me.
go of that, and I was out the room. See ya.
That
Done.
was a-
That is not me.
Do you ever watch the scary movies that have that on there?
I don't watch.
I mean, do you have a different
Sure I
opinion
have.
when it comes to that?
do I have a different opinion when it comes to?
Watching it on a scary movie? Like when you're not touching it.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
Well,
That
no,
is-
I say that. She says that, Jerry, because we've watched, and we talked about this last week,
Well, no, I'm just asking his.
how some movies predicate the future. You know what I mean? It's
Oh yeah, yeah. As I like to say, Men in Black comes up quite a bit.
yes, we talked. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember we talked about that. I
But
don't.
you-
I never really. I don't watch a lot of scary movies. So
But you're not like, okay, I'm watching this scary movie and there's a Ouija board cutting it off. And then you're not watching the rest of the movie.
no, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Santa won't be there.
A Ouija board told my dad when he was going to die and how he was going to die. And my dad burned it in a fire right then. And he passed up the day, and stuff. But it was on his mind, pretty much his whole life about that.
Mhm.
Not his whole life, but a big portion of his life.
Yeah, I've never had like my palms read or anything. I've had friends that have. But I'm like, I don't want to know things that are going to happen, even how vague they might be said or explain that they may happen. I'm like, I don't want that to look forward to. But sometimes at the same time, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have known that was going to happen. But I still am not going to do it.
but who wants to know when they're going to die? you know?
Well, it's not just that. Like, I kind of wish I would have known that my mom was going to die. But, it's like, at the same time, there's not enough preparation that you can do for that to be acceptable. It's never going to be enough.
I know that when my grandfather passed, the dementia had really started to set in, and
Good point.
towards the end, you could tell that I think he knew. I really believe that he knew it was coming
Mhm.
Yeah.
because
I think
he still remembered who everybody was. He wasn't that far gone, but I could tell it was getting close. And a couple days before he passed, I was sitting there with him, and finally he put his arm around me and he said, I'm sorry I left you with all this. And I said, Pop, you don't ever have to apologize to me for anything. And he couldn't walk very well the last couple of weeks, even though almost probably 3 weeks prior to that, he was out. He decided he was going to mow the pasture out here in my field, just out of nowhere. And I guess he figured that was the last thing he wanted to get done was mow the damn pasture before he passed. And he wasn't really walking all that great, but he somehow managed to get on the tractor. Even drug a damn step ladder out there and got on before my grandmother or anybody else knew what he was doing.
no.
He was out there mowing, but the last morning when they called me and when he fell, he said that, damn it, I'm going to die on my feet. And he got out of bed before my grandmother or my mom or my aunt or anybody could stop him. And he stood up and then he fell.
Wow.
Wow.
And-
Stand up, Jeff. Show your shirt off.
Yeah, right in the middle of your-
Make sure your buttons are closed.
Nice.
You got pants on,
Oh,
right?
I like it.
Yeah, I got pants on.
Okay, good.
I like
Okay.
candy cane
Yeah, there's some
And the
birds
big
on there.
stick.
There's
with a surfboard.
Bigfoot with a surfboard. There's some cardinals. There's some bells and shit. There's
I like your palm trees.
Bells and shit. I like that.
No, we don't want to see any shit on your shirt.
Okay.
Guys, I completely apologize. I had.
Oh,
to
you're okay.
go
No,
take care of
don't
something.
apologize.
Fun.
All good.
Hey, we said we're easy going.
Yeah, I had to go do a couple things, and my son woke up, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Aw.
How old's your son? How old's your son?
9,
Oh, okay. I
Aw.
remember those days.
but I was thinking right now, guys, we could do the winner of the giveaway.
Yeah, you're reading my mind.
yeah.
I was going to suggest
And
that.
I was thinking if I
Oh
haven't
God!
cut
Don't
any,
say that. Don't say that.
if I haven't
tell
cut
you-
anybody off,
Oh,
we
you're
could
fine.
go to Brother David next.
Okay, you want to give
We
give
got-
like a last
Yes.
5 minute? Let them try. Let some more entries come in. We got some new
Yep.
people come in.
Yep.
So-
5 more minutes. All you have to do is hit enter or type entered in, and you're entered into the will giveaway.
Woohoo.
So yeah.
5 minutes, and then we're going to draw. He's going to draw the winner.
BRB.
Yep.
10:25 will be the one. Eastern time.
Selena just entered.
Yeah.
Hillary.
Hillary eaten her pizza 3 times in the last
Hillary's
hour.
on fire tonight.
Sorry, Hillary.
Roger wants to know what we're getting.
What
Right.
you're getting is you're getting a Northwoods Bricks Bigfoot kit that you can build and put on your table or give it to your kid for Christmas or it's going to be after Christmas, but a late Christmas present.
Adam, that's awesome.
So yeah, but these guys, go check these guys out. Northwoods Bricks. They're a family-owned business. It is a husband and wife that run it, and they're very nice individuals.
Are they local to you?
No, they actually live. I think it's Wisconsin.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you see audio? Hit enter.
Yep. Just hit enter. That's all you have to do. So far, I've got Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project, Art120796,
Art.
Elaine, Cons,
Scott's
Squatch, yeah, Patrick Noble, River Morris, Pyromedic, Billy Schilling, Michael X, Dog, Hillary, Phyllis, Pine Knot Yoder, Selena,
And audio.
Audio.
Audio
Okay.
said in.
Did Squatch and Holler enter?
I think you did.
Yes. Yes, he did. I just saw it a few minutes ago. Yeah.
Okay, let's put him down as well. And the way that I'll reach out to you guys, you can go on my page, Cryptid Fan 94, and look at the community post that I post on. And whoever wins, just comment on there, and I can give you my email and reach out to you from there.
This has been awesome tonight.
Yeah, Mary's keeping track of it too. Thank you, Mary.
But after we get this, I would love for
Yeah, it's
Brother David to start.
Yes.
And you better clear your schedule.
We may lose service.
Already did once.
The government's going to shut us up right away when David starts talking.
I don't know how he managed to get my fortune. I don't know what my fortune said.
That's a good one, Roger.
Oh,
Right.
actually, I left my fortune cookie up at my mom's house, so I'll have to read it later.
I'm excited doing this. This has been a great podcast. I appreciate all of you guys being here and inviting me to. I don't know. Jerry wanted me to be the host. I'm probably not the best host in the world, but
You're doing great.
I'm on it. I have a show now, so you know, it could be worse.
Jeff, how come I don't know about your show?
Well, it's this show. It's all of us.
No, I saw one with you and River, and
that was our group chat. I'll have to put you in on that because you're probably
That's the clan meeting.
Our crazy.
Please do. I'd love to do that. Yeah, check that out.
Well, sometimes Greg gets on there when he's not like on the phone with 15 different Bigfoot investigators and people. You know, he's probably on the phone with Kumbo for 3 hours when he thinks he's going to talk to him for 20 minutes.
Sharing snacks. What would you like to eat right now? I think
Exactly.
By the way, Adam, you're doing great, man.
Adam, you are doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you,
need
guys.
you. We need you on Monday nights. We need you to start
Monday nights.
Cheryl.
Doing a Monday night
I'll help
show.
you. I'll help
Okay.
you. Talk you
But,
through. If you got any questions?
I really like having somebody that's my age that's getting into this stuff because I feel like I was the only young guy in the crew here.
What? I'm young. Not really.
See, that's the thing. I would love later on down the road, all of us to be able to meet up and
man.
make a basically a video of all of us going camping or something. That would be
See what Mary said. You're never on the phone with Kumbo for 15 minutes.
Okay. We got one other thing to settle here. We got to figure out who's older, Chad or me.
Oh, good question. 67?
September 21st, 1967.
This one I thought I had a chance.
January
January 6th, 1967.
I win!
No.
You win.
He
Damn
wins.
You win.
He wins.
Yeah, he wins.
No, he wins because he's younger.
No. It's how you feel. It's not your age. It's
I didn't realize that Pat was almost as old as Kumbo. I thought he was in his 50s.
What?
Yeah, Pat's
River-
66.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Pat Noble is 66.
I absolutely got roasted
Wow.
by my 5-year-old daughter the other day. I turned 30 in June, right?
Oh, God.
And hear me out on
You
this.
finally take the pacifier out? Is that
Right.
I don't remember
right.
30.
30 years old. I didn't think I was that old. My daughter
I got
comes
5
up to
years
me.
on you.
My daughter comes up to me and she goes, "Dad, we need to talk." And I was like, now this 5 years old is about to hit me with some of the realest shit on the planet or something, because like I have a 5-year-old coming up here and telling me to this. She goes, I'm worried about you. And I was like, what are you worried about? She said, you're getting old and you're getting fat. I was like,
oh, you grounded her, right? She got it.
No. She has her
Sounds
hands.
like my son.
She has me around her finger. I cannot be mad at all.
My 6-year-old does the same thing to me.
Exactly. And then she comes up and she said, Mommy said you're getting bald.
Oh,
And I was like, oh,
ouch.
Damn.
that's 30. You are up past your bedtime. Santa will never come if you don't.
Santa's coming soon. You better behave.
It's
But,
10:26,
so-
man. Draw us a winner.
All right. So as you guys can see, I've got a wheel right here. So all I'm going to do is tap the
Hold on a
spin.
second. I'll put you full screen real quick.
I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but and
Okay, you got a winner, but I can't read who it is.
Audio.
Congratulations, audio.
Congratulations.
Audio.
That's their name, Audio.
Mhm.
That's wild.
Hey, love the Iron Maiden shirt, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Hey, thank you. That's literally my favorite band of all time.
Hell yeah.
Oh, good for you. I've just
So-
gotten into that the last few years.
One of my favorites is
And I'm
Jersey.
41.
Audio,
Great.
the big winner. My name is Joey.
Audio, my name is Joey. So what I'm going to do, audio, is I am going to share my link in the chat, and I will need you to comment on my recent community post. It'll show that I commented that I'm live now and have the link, and I will send you my email that you can get in touch with, so I can get your information and ship this out to you. You won the Bigfoot put together thing. So
Now, did you see how simple that was, Spencer? See how simple that was?
Yes.
Did you see what River just said?
Yeah.
Santa's at Spencer's trying to learn how to start fires.
Man.
and if any of you guys would like to go check out some of my content that's over there as well, you're more than welcome to. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, check
Get
it
over
out.
there and do it.
We checked yours out.
Okay.
Did it share the link or no?
Oh,
Spencer will call me and cuss me later.
It says that it's shared on here, but
I didn't see it.
I know that's weird because I've got it pulled up on my phone and it shows that I've shared it right there.
Give it time. What are you talking about? The chat?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, let's see. No, I don't see it over there. Try it again.
Oh.
There it is. Cryptid Fan. Go to page Cryptid Fan 94. It's coming up. It'll hit YouTube before it hits the chat that you see in StreamYard.
But congratulations to audio. And also to let you guys know that when I hit 500 subscribers, I'll be doing a even bigger giveaway because obviously the stuff that I'll be giving away is cryptid related. And yeah.
Is that X?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, no wonder why Spencer don't watch our show.
Adam, I'll help you out. We'll get you up. We'll get you up there.
Well, thank you very
Billy
much.
said Spencer went to bed at 8:30 in case Santa Claus showed up.
In Spencer's defense, Spencer actually has friends, and I believe family over. His wife has to work tomorrow, and so they're celebrating Christmas tonight. So.
I'll do that after the show. Thank you very much. Thank you, audio. I really appreciate it. And just comment, even if you can't find the community thing, comment on one of my videos. Be like, hey, I'm the winner. And I'll send you the email.
So if I go to your page and I say, "Hey, audio," I'm audio, and I give you my address, you'll send me.
Oh yeah,
Roger said YouTube sent him an ankle monitor.
Wow. Wow.
I love it.
Wow.
It's like when you end up in Facebook jail.
Been there before.
I just subbed to your channel. Thank you
I
so
did
much.
that
I
one time,
appreciate
and I
that.
don't even know what I did.
Be sure to
Also-
sub here too, please.
Oh
Thank you.
my god, that's hilarious.
Also, a big thank you once again to Jerry and Jeff and David for having me on their shows. I mean, I really appreciate it, guys.
Hey, I just got lucky and stumbled into your chat room.
Stop.
Hey, Adam,
Hey,
is this your first? I know you've done the short ones. Is this your first podcast?
He did one with us last week.
yeah, I did one with them last week. This is the second one I've ever
Yeah.
done.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
this you're leading. Okay.
Yeah.
This is
Good
first
job.
lead.
No, we'll
Thank
be fans with you. I mean, we'll follow you. Great job.
See, Adam kind of does it the way that Cam Buckner does on Dixie Cryptid, and I really like how he presents it.
Yeah, we've listened to his stories.
Yeah.
He does a great job this way too.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it was like I told Jerry and Jeff and wherever David went. I was telling them is, you know, I'm not the best at the whole computer setups and having these awesome, shiny, technological stuff, right? But you know, I'm just a dude from Virginia that puts his iPhone up and tells experiences of what had happened. I
Well,
mean,
there's my neighbor Dan Hammonds. Dan slid into the.
that's it. You know, I told them before is, you know, I want to create a community where everybody can come together and not feel like that they're going to be judged for their experiences that they had.
That's
Because
awesome.
what Chad was saying before was, you know, nobody should be judged or made fun of on what they have experienced. You know, that is one thing. I had people make fun of me for my experiences that I had. They was like, "Oh, you're full of shit. You didn't see anything." Da 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 da.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you wasn't there. Number one, and number two, how are you going to sit here and tell me that I'm full of shit when, once again, you wasn't even there? So, you know,
You're right.
I
That's
take
good.
that
Good
stuff
for you.
with a grain
Good.
of salt.
yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt. You were getting ready to go to Mr. Blaylock, but Brother Blaylock has. There he is. He's back. Bernie's back.
Oh, he's back.
They've already got his number. They're getting ready to cut him off again. So here's
What?
I
Ladies
think
and
what's
gentlemen,
More stories.
I think is what's happening is because of the conversation we had on the podcast.
The government is listening.
Hey, we didn't talk about the word.
The D
Right.
word, and there is only one person we can blame, Jeff. No,
right.
no, I'm kidding.
ladies and gentlemen, Bernie,
You're in the group now. Oh my gosh.
Seriously.
Brother David.
Hurry up, David.
Man, that was weird. My computer just completely shut down.
Government,
I had
aliens,
to go right back into StreamYard and everything.
they're coming for you.
yeah, we're
Let 'em
all about it,
come.
Roger. Don't worry.
Let them
We've already
come.
been investigated.
So, Brother David, would you care to share some of your experiences with us?
Sure.
All right.
So I guess it would start off in 1980. My camera's blurry. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that all day today, but let me
Wipe
see.
it off. Yeah, I was going to say, just wipe it off.
Anyway, 1980. And the only reason why I remember the date was because I was in school and was writing the date on my school paper. And it had just turned to 1980. And I wrote 1979 and had to erase that. And that kind of stuck in my mind. So 1980. And ended up, we'd lived at this place. And it was actually, we were just going to live there temporarily till we could move our mobile home up to this other property that we just bought. That's better. That was all blurry and weird. But so we'd moved up to this one property in Junction. It's called Junction City, California, not very far from where the Patterson Gimlin film occurred. And we'd lived up there. I don't know. We probably lived up there a couple of weeks or maybe a month. And during that time leading up to this, we had heard like a woman being murdered or raped type screams. Screams, just like top of your voice. At the top, like a woman screaming at the top of her lungs. And our whole family, there were 6 kids and my mom and dad. And we would all just sit there with the window open at night and just listen to this screaming coming off from behind us. Man, why is my battery saying it's running low? If I lose you guys again, this is really weird. My computer's plugged in and it's saying it's about to die. So
Government.
I'm serious. I don't know what's going on here. It's plugged in. But and then one day my brother Charlie, who was the oldest of us kids, there was 3 girls, 3 boys. He was the oldest, came running through the door, and he must have been about 15 or something like that, or 16. It's like, Mom, I found a huge footprint. And my mom's like, what do you mean? He's like, it looked like a person, but it was huge. And she's like, oh, it was probably a bear double stepping into its own track. And he was like, you could see the fear on his face. He was like, no, Mom, it was huge. There was multiple tracks and they were huge. And so all of us kids could see it on my brother's face. And that kind of scared all of us kids because we're all like younger. I was 7 years younger than him. It's like, whoa, he saw something. And so me and him shared a bedroom in this double wide mobile home. The driveway getting up there was like a mile long, and it was like red clay dirt and steep and almost a 4-wheel drive road. And it was only house, only trailer, only residence on this road. And it's complete wilderness behind that trailer. And me and my brother Charlie shared the same room. And this mobile home on the back end on our bedroom end was up on blocks, like cinder blocks. It was like 3 feet off the ground on that back side. And across from the hallway from me and my brother, there was the only way to say it would be a haunted room. My dad chained that door shut because it was kind of a weird room. And then the next room up the hallway was across the hallway from our bedroom was a old pantry, like a food pantry. And there used to be a door that went out to the outside of the mobile home, but that door was gone and they had screwed a piece of plywood over the door opening. And so I was laying I don't know what time it was. I didn't have a clock on it, but I was laying in bed with my brother. My brother was sleeping. You could tell by his breathing. And I'm laying on my back, and we had kittens. I had a kitten on my chest, and there was a couple of them up on the windowsill. And the light through the windowsill, you could see the silhouettes of these little kittens. And I'm laying there just half asleep, trying to go to sleep. And I noticed my kitten just like puffed up, like did that stance like they do when they're playing or they're scared or something, did that. And I look up, and the kittens in the window were doing the same thing, and they're staring out the window. And their heads are just both at the same time. Their heads are churning like that, and their little bodies are churning at the same time. Pretty soon, I would say this must have been like midnight. I have no idea, but it was like in the middle of the night. Pretty soon, I could hear, doof, 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 and I could follow it going all the way around the backside of our trailer, walk up the other side of the trailer, and stop right across from my bedroom, across the hallway, by that pantry. And it was quiet for a second. Now I'm like feeling for my brother to wake him up, and he was ducked down, so I was actually kind of feeling above him. And finally I was just like, just about ready to get out of bed, and I heard like, and you could kind of feel the trailer kind of just shift a little bit, and that cracking breaking sound. And I was, in my little kid mind, I was like 9 years old, I'm thinking the monster's breaking the house, trying to get in. So I jumped up and I went to the doorknob and I turned it as quiet as I could, and it went click. And I heard that just running off. I mean, you could feel it. Boom, boom, boom. And so I opened the door. I knew it was gone. So I opened the door and I just get past that entry door to my mom and dad's room. And I get in there, my mom's like, I jump on my mom and dad's bed. I'm like, Mom, because my mom always.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Yeah, we
I
lost.
told you. I told you. Every time he gets into the storyline of things for him, it's a little crazy.
Well, the government got him,
He'll be
boys.
back. He'll be back.
As soon as I said that, Art said, "Ooh, they got him." So,
Oh boy. Anyway. Nope, I'm wide awake. Wide awake.
I can finish
Off
that.
in my face.
I can finish that mimic story before we
But
talk
it's not
about
the same. Oh, go ahead.
my fat body stuck in the hammock. But
Lord help us.
Come on, Jeff.
well, I was laughing because Pyro said we need to get like a model of that. me stuck in a hammock. But the night that the mimic happened in Western Maryland, where I found that track, I heard what sounded like when I was getting out of there to pee, what sounded like my friend snoring next to me. The other guy's anchored off the same tree over here. And as I hear the snore, directly across from me, across the trail, I hear the mimic of a snore. And that was like, whoa. And I'm listening and it's still doing it. So I started rummaging around trying to find my headlamp, and I guess whatever it was must have heard me. So as I unzipped the tent and stuck my headlamp out, it was gone. But the next morning, I found an X directly across the trail about where that sound had came from. And it looked like something that took two branches and took it was just a branch, like there were nothing sticking off, just two probably 8-foot branches just stuck in an X across from there. And I was looking to try to see if maybe they fell out of the tree or something. And I couldn't see anything broke off that looked, like it had fell from nearby. So that's another odd one.
mm-hmm.
And I can't remember if I told you this, but did I ever tell you about finding deer carcasses hanging in the tree stands? I think
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know if I told Adam that. There's so much weird stuff that's happened. I could go into it for a year, and it never cover all of it. But I still haven't got that one definitive sighting, and I've seen apparitions that could have possibly been me catching a glimpse of one, but it's hard to say.
What do you guys think about skinwalkers?
Oh,
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Oh.
I'm going to say this.
I know we kind of touched base on it a little bit on the last podcast, but what do you guys think? Oh, well, there he is.
Continue, Bernie.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, come on, Barney.
I want to say skinwalkers. The Indians know more than we knew. I mean, I think that the stuff that they've talked about, TP pictures, stuff on they know way more than we know. Skinwalkers, hell yeah. Again, I'm a guy that's never seen shit or stuff. Sorry. Just saying.
Hillary said, "Don't say that 3 times." What are you saying? Don't say the skinwalker 3 times, or what are you saying?
I probably don't want to say it 3 times in a row. I think that's the bad.
Skinwalker.
Well, that's the thing is Jeff, Jerry, and David remember the last podcast that my brother's experience. You know, do you guys think that was one, or what do you guys think that was?
That's hard to say.
What are you telling us, Adam? Maybe I missed this.
Basically, my brother had a crazy experience that he walked outside one night because he had scratching and he heard all kinds of weird stuff. And there was this really tall, gray thing with dark eyes standing right there at the edge of his house and bolted. But I didn't want to cut David off while he was trying to finish his story. But that's what we was talking about.
Pyro said they'd take it as a challenge.
That sounds like a skinwalker to me.
We need to get Pyro on one night. Get the Native American perspective on that.
Okay, let's let Bernie do a story.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know why it's acting up, but so I guess I ran into my mom and dad's bedroom, and I was like, jumped on the bed, and my mom woke up, and I was like, Mom, there's a monster outside. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, there's a monster outside. And she was like, no, it's probably just the cats fighting, because there was always these wild cat, like straggler cats that would come around and fight with our cats. So I was like, no, Mom, it broke the house. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, it broke the house. And so I was like crawled in bed with Mom and Dad, and I was all scared and everything. And the next day, my mom and my older brother picked us other kids up from the elementary school, and we're driving back, and we had a station wagon. I was in the back seat, and my brother Charlie turns around and goes, hey, David, remember last night what you heard? And I was like, yeah. I mean, of course I remember. No. He goes, wait till we get home. So we get home, and my dad had just gotten off work. He worked at a lumber mill and was standing out there when we pulled up, and was standing there looking at that piece of plywood. And so we get out of the car and we all walk up there, and you could see like I want to say claws or fingernails or something.
Ooh. What was that?
Broke the plywood in at the very top of that.
Wow.
And I remember my mom and my dad and all this kid just looking up, because it was that end of the trailer was like 3 feet off the ground. And so a door's like 7 foot tall or something like that. I'm not sure, and it was at the top of that. So it was broken like 10 feet off the ground. And my mom's like saying, Chuck, my dad's name Chuck, what could do that? And he's like, a bear, I guess. And she's like, there's bears that big? And he goes, that's the only thing that could do it. And so that was my first real kind of getting my feet wet in it. Nothing really happened about that. But when my mom and dad talked to the people that we rented that place from and told them kind of what happened, like my dad said the bear came, the people got a weird look on their face, and it was like, yeah, the previous renters had the big bear come around and had ripped the door off of that pantry, and that's why there was plywood screwed on it. And so that was like getting my feet wet into it. Didn't know what it was. I mean, we kind of had an idea, even being kids, stuff you always heard about, the boogeyman, and we'd heard about Bigfoot or Sasquatch. I mean, we lived right in the heart of it, but didn't really think nothing about it. We didn't stop playing outside or nothing. I mean, it was just kind of normal things. So we moved from there and moved up to that property that we had bought. And this property is like 26 miles from the nearest little hick town. I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but a little mountain town was like 26 miles away. And we bought a used single wide mobile home, pulled that mobile home onto this property. And so that we were living that. And honestly, I can't tell you how long we had lived there before this next experience happened. If I had to guess, I would say probably a year or two, maybe a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. And me and my brother, my younger brother, slept on a hideaway couch in the living room. My mom and dad's bedroom was at the very end of the trailer, and my sister's bedroom was up the hallway, and then the bathroom, and then my mom and dad's room. So I had woke up in the middle of the night. I was on my back, and I was actually dreaming that I was eating a big, huge marshmallow and choking on a marshmallow, which is funny. I remember that, but I woke up feeling like a hand had been pressed, like choking me to death. Like literally felt like I was just about to.
River is removing a kangaroo from his front yard currently.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So I woke up, feeling like I was being choked, and it wouldn't go away. I mean, literally felt like my throat was swelled, from the pressure. So I got up, went down the hallway to my mom, dad's room, and my dad slept on the right-hand side and my mom was on the left. Well, I walked around to my mom's side and I was like, Mom, I can't breathe. And she was like, what's wrong? Or something stuck in your throat? And I said, no, I can't breathe. I feel like I'm being choked. And she's like, can you get air? Can you breathe? And I said, yeah. And she goes, then you're okay. And I was like, Mom, I feel, like I can't breathe. And so she was like, she did this to all of us kids. She was like, all right, well, you can sleep with me and Dad tonight. So I climbed into bed with my mom and dad. I was on the outside. My mom was in the middle. And my dad was on the other side. So I'm laying there on my back. And I guess if I had to guess, I was probably laying there for maybe like an hour, maybe a half hour or something like that. I don't know exactly the time, and I had my eyes closed, and through my eyes, I could see like flickering of light. And it was like if you had your eyes closed and you're sitting outside around a campfire, how you could see the flickering of the campfire through your eyelids. Yep. That's what it was like. And I thought to myself, am I really seeing this? So before I even opened my eyes, I had that thought, like, are you actually seeing this? And so I concentrated and I could see that flicker of light and I could tell that it was moving. So when I opened my eyes, my mom and dad's room was already turning red through the wall, and the bedroom door was shut and everything. It was just turning red. And about that time that I'd opened my eyes and saw the room getting red, and it was getting redder, and you could tell that this source was moving. This ball of red light just came right through the wall and just stopped right at the top by the ceiling in my mom and dad's room. And when it did that, I sat up, and it looked like, I always described it as like a red light. And then later in life, I was like, it's like hot lava, like turning. Like the ball itself wasn't churning, but inside of it was like churning. And then just probably 10 years ago, my son, he was like, you mean like plasma? And I was like, yeah, like plasma. That's a good way to look at it. It was like plasma. And
so how big was it that you saw? Like, how big was it?
It was smaller than a basketball. I don't know if anybody buys like those 1 gallon round tubs of ice cream. It was like the lid size of one of that. I've actually got those ice cream tubs and look, and I was like, that is the size of it. It was like the size of an ice cream tub, and red. And like I said, it was kind of turning on the inside, and like 3 or 4 feet around the outside of it was purple, like a purple aura, I guess is out, or a purple glow. Mm-hmm. And coming off the edge all the way around it, coming off the edge of the red and going out within that purple was like these white sparkles, huge white sparkles. It was beautiful. It looked like a firework, or, that's what it looked like. There was no sound, no smell, no nothing. So I had set up and it just came through the wall and like stopped like halfway through. So it was like half of a ball sticking through the wall. And I put my left hand on my mom's hip, and she's facing away from me, facing towards my dad. She's on her side. And I put my hand on my mom's hip. And I'm like, Mom, do you see that red light? And she didn't say nothing. So I turned and looked at her, and her head started to lift up off the bed, and she laid it back down. And like I said, the whole room was lit up. Like if you had a red light in your light fixture, you can see. And so my wife's home. I'm sorry.
So those are Tootsie Pops as the background. Just a second
was
ago.
Weird.
I don't know what happened there.
I'm sorry, David. That just complete ADHD. It just completely.
That threw me off too. What?
But go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. So I seen my mom lift her head up and then lay it back down, and I could see the whole side profile of her face. And I heard her voice, but her lips were not moving. And she said, "You're dreaming, son. Go back to sleep." And I still had my hand on her hip and was still pointing at the red light. And I'm like, "No, I'm not, Mom. It's right there." And it was like after I said that, "No, I'm not, Mom. It's right there." It's like 2, 3, and now it's like waking up from surgery. I don't know if you've ever had surgery or passing out, how you kind of start waking up and you're kind of confused for a second and your eyes take a second to focus. It was like that. And I'm still pointing and my left hand's still off to my side. And now it's like I'm looking through clear glass wall, I guess. And it's all stars. And I couldn't see the moon or anything or the earth. And I could just tell it was stars. And and I'm still pointing towards where I'm looking because I was like, "No, I'm not, Mom. It's right there." So I was still looking, but now I'm looking at stars. And I'm thinking my left hand is either on my mom's hip, and I'm thinking actually my dad's holding my hand is what I thought. And I remember looking down and I could see my pajamas. I could see my arm in my pajamas. And now I'm holding this black, wrinkly skinned hand. It had fingernails kind of like a vampire's, like ours at the base, but they went to like a point. The fingernails were black. There was like white, how we get like the white lines in our fingernails. It had white lines in it like we get in ours. And it was red haired, completely red hair. And so my eyes go from that, go right up this red hairy arm to this, looking back now, it was a juvenile Bigfoot that was like the size of my dad or so. And it's looking straight down at me and its eyes are huge. And it's just looking straight down at me, we're standing side by side, but it's had its head turned looking at me. And my eyes go from that. And it's holding Mom's hand, big, tall, red Bigfoot. And she's holding Dad's big red hand. They're at a catty corner. I'm going to try to get so me and the little one are like at an angle. I don't know how to do it. Like an L shape. Me and the little one are side by side and Mom and Dad are looking down at us. And my eyes go from that, and standing off to the right from Mom and Dad Bigfoot was 2 alien beings. They weren't holding hands, but they were standing shoulder to shoulder against a pale, dark cream colored wall. I guess I couldn't see a ceiling. I didn't see the floor, but kind of the wall behind me, it was kind of like that color. And the first one I look at was like a praying mantis being, and it had oval eyes and they wrapped around the side of its head. The cheeks were like not skin, but bone, and were like charcoal, kind of burnt bone looking. Big, pronounced cheeks. I don't really remember a mouth, but it was like my eyes were being controlled on what I was looking at. I didn't have any emotion. I wasn't scared. I wasn't lost. Nothing. It was like just looking at you guys right now, just kind of how everybody's kind of looking around. That's kind of the feel. And standing beside it was this tall blue alien being with like a big round head. You could see like the blood veins, I guess, like the vessels in its face.
Did it look evil, or did it just look,
evil? You said?
Yeah. Did it look evil? Did it look like it wanted to do you harm? Did it?
It wasn't even they weren't even looking at me. I could tell the way their heads were angled. They were looking down kind of beside me. I didn't have any feel of harm or dread. It was just like looking at all of us right now, just like looking around in a room or people you knew or something. But it had like silver eyeballs, kind of the almond shape, but silver. And they were tall. They were like the size of the daddy Bigfoot as far as height.
Do you think what you experienced, do you think that's aliens and Bigfoots are connected, or what do you think?
Personally, I felt like the Bigfoot was abducted along with me. That's what it felt like. Because we were all like holding hands and we were all looking at each other at first, and then these other beings were off by themselves, kind of.
Because that reminds me of the the saying like what Squatch and Holler said was, did you feel like you was like in a trance?
Hmm.
Is that how you
I
felt?
I can't see.
Or
I turned off comments, so I can't see. I didn't. I felt like my eyes were being controlled.
okay,
I-
so you felt like you was in a trance, so you couldn't take your eyes off of what you was seeing.
Yes,
It's
I
kind of
didn't
like
look
that.
around or nothing. Yeah, it was just boom, 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 boom.
It's kind of like that movie, Fire in the Sky. If
Yes.
like when the main guy goes out there and he's looking at this, and all of a sudden he just locks onto this thing, just looking up at the sky. You know, I don't know if the government's watching right now or whatever, but we'll talk about aliens real quick. I think that they have that technology to be able to, mind control. I mean, look at it back in the 50s and 60s. MK Ultra is, Jerry, should I not talk about this? I don't want to get your page flagged or anything like this.
Just don't use the D word. We should be okay.
Okay. Well, it's for the longest time they said, oh, there was no MK Ultra, there was no mind control experiments done or anything. But now you can go and you can pull it up on government websites that they did these things. So it makes you think, even before you was having these experiences, David, they was already experimenting with mind control, So it is very well possibility of the technology that we're sitting at right now that we have today, like for me to be able to pick up this iPhone and be like, okay, I can type in whatever I want to and find whatever I want. This right here, we still probably haven't even been exposed to the newest technology or what they have technology wise.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a really good thesis that, what you had saw, that Bigfoot and aliens are connected, because, Bigfoot and aliens are kind of in the same realm of everything, because, you have people right here that say, yeah, I've seen UFOs, I've seen an alien, I've seen this. And then you have people saying, I've seen Bigfoot. Why is the government always so quick to be like, no, there's nothing? Or was, no, there's nothing. There's never, no, you don't need to worry about that. Just run along. But now people are calling them out on their shit, and stuff is starting to come out now. And they're like, well, we had these first couple of times. And then these first couple of times turn out to be these thousands of encounters that the military's had with these things. So I think that what you experienced, I think it had to do with you experienced both of them, and they wanted you to see it because you had opened yourself up to it.
That makes sense.
No, but that's just my 10 cents on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
I am open to it, and I have always, seemingly as a kid, even I didn't know about any of that stuff, I mean, for real.
Yeah.
But I was always like watching the sky, and always like, man, I always thought I wanted to see like the scary monsters and stuff until it happened. I guess then it's not fun, but
yeah.
But anyway, I could say it was seemingly like a trance, and it's seemingly the Bigfoot family was in the same boat as I was, and they had that, I would say, a surprised look on their face, kind of probably like me when I woke up, and it was all of a sudden I'm seeing stars. Not woke up, but when I was not in my mom and dad's room no more, probably I could have had that look on my face. I have no idea. But just like, what are we doing here?
Did you, after you had these experiences, did you feel different? Did you have any, did you have any nightmares after this, or did you have any sort of way that you thought of things different?
Not really. I never was scared about it. I never had fear from it. It was never a scary situation. And yeah, I've never had nightmares about it. I don't know if I've ever felt different, because growing up, I always just talked about the red light that came into mom and dad's room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't blank it out, and I didn't put it behind me, but I just didn't talk about it. My family didn't even know about the rest of that story until later on, when I was finally like, you know what? I'm just going to tell them. I don't care what they think. My mom, dad, if you talked about Bigfoot, they would think you were crazy. Even though we had experiences and stuff, they would have thought that. And so I never talked about that part. My sister, Cindy, she's very open. And now in life, my whole family, I'm like, you know what? Honestly, they're like, you never lie. And when I lie, if I tried to, I get a guilty look because I don't like lying. And so they're like, you never lie. Why would you lie about that? I'm like, yeah, why would I lie about that? So I was finding like, I don't care who believes me or not.
Yeah.
And so I just would just openly talk about it to them, and so, but it was really weird that the emotions were like out of it. The guy, Fire in the Sky, seemingly his emotions weren't out of it. It was a scary thing for him. And mine just wasn't. It was really weird, even though I was seeing.
That's a nice Christmas tree.
With a Bigfoot in the back.
Yeah, with a Bigfoot in the back. What kind of presents? I wonder what's in them.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
I need a $200 Amazon gift card.
That's not in there.
Not in there.
Catherine McSwain said, "Are you guys okay?" No. In the head? No.
No, exactly.
Old Christmas tree, old Christmas tree. Oh yeah, we're approaching the 3-hour mark. Woohoo!
Nice.
You know what? I'm safe right now too because I haven't got hit in the side of the head with a can of beans yet either. So I think another thing that we could talk about is okay, how am I going to say this without, I don't want Jerry to stripe my legs. So, what do you think? No, I better not, because it has to do with the D word. So
Good idea. Let's not do it. Don't go there.
Do you? Okay, how about this?
Next episode.
Yeah. Do you think that what is going on in the news right now has to do with UFOs or aliens? We're not going to say what I'm talking about.
Nah.
But do you think that it has anything to do with UFOs?
No.
No?
Nope. I don't think so.
I don't either.
Do you think that it has to do with the guys in charge covering something up? Okay. That's all I'll say about that, because I don't want to get Jerry or
seems
anybody
like a
in
mixture
trouble
of both, really. Some of it seems like a mixture of both. Like some of the things don't sound like those D things could, do the things that they're doing, and so I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
I think a lot of it is, one thing we'll go off and we'll not talk about the D word, but I have to get this off my chest, and maybe you guys will agree with me on it or not, but everybody's freaking out and they're talking about WW3, right? Everybody's like, oh, it's happening. Well, really, it's been happening since, 2020, 2021?
Yep.
And everybody's just freaking out now about it. Do you ever come to the point where you just sit down and you get to thinking about it and you're like, we're already too deep in getting out of it? You guys ever think about that?
And there is Trey T. Holy. Sorry.
I mean,
long story, Adam. I've been waiting for this guy to come in the chat room.
Okay.
Jerry will remember why. Had to do with a certain property above me on the ridge.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to turn it over to you, Jeff, or
No,
No,
no, no, no.
No,
You're
no,
good.
no.
okay,
No.
okay.
David,
Um,
did you say everything you needed to say, or
Yeah. Or did
Oh,
you?
didn't quite finish that. Didn't quite finish that one. It was almost done though. But
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
it's
ahead.
okay.
I apologize.
It's all good. I know people are getting cross-eyed right about now anyway. But I'll just finish it kind of quick. So once I looked at those two alien beings and I noticed they were looking down beside me, I could tell they were. So it was like bang, bang. And then I look right beside me and there's a short little gray being, a gray alien, looking up at them. And its head was bobbing like it was talking, but there was no sound or nothing. And as soon as I noticed that, it just churned and looked right in my eyeballs. And it was like click. And then I'm walking, kind of waking back up from that, like passing out or surgery feel. And I'm walking up the hallway towards the kitchen. And I could hear my own voice, like how you hear yourself when you're talking to yourself. I might be the only one who talks to himself. But when you hear your own voice in your head, I heard my own voice saying, drink pickle juice, drink pickle juice. And so I went to the kitchen and opened the jar of pickle juice and chugged pickle juice. And that was that. Went back to bed.
See, I've got so many questions for you about your experience, David. Because it's very interesting to me because you was able to see all of this. How did you not, like, the next day when you woke up? How did you not be like, holy crap, what the hell did I just? How did you keep that balance and composure that you're just super calm and chilled out guy like you are all the time? How did you do it?
Like I said, it was like all the emotions seemed to be taken out of the whole thing. Even like talking about it now, to me, I would love to have it happen again. I mean, then maybe I could ask questions to them or something. Maybe not, but I don't know, Adam. It was just one of those things that in my mind I didn't know if it was abnormal or different and I was probably, if I had to guess, I was probably like 10 or like 12 years old or something like that ish.
Do you think that they went after you had that experience? Do you think that they performed some sort of experiment to make you feel like, hey, okay, don't worry about it, chill out, you're going to be fine?
I don't recall anything. All I recall is when that gray alien turned and looked at me, it was like back home. What they could have done, I have no idea. I'm assuming they could have.
Well, see,
And
that's what I was saying about the whole, like, mind control and everything is, you said the alien turned back and looked at you and you just kind of went back. Then, I think that was a mind altering experience for me. That's what it sounds like to me, that it was altering your mind. Okay, I see in its point of view, okay, I see this human had this experience and he sees what we are, so we need to turn around and send him back as, okay, you're good, don't freak out about it, just go on and live your life. I don't know that.
yeah, it makes sense. I have no clue either, honestly. That was the only time, Mary. That's the only time I've ever seen any aliens.
Yeah. Art said David sounds like a great future guest, Adam. Absolutely. Anytime that any of you guys, if I just, like, whenever I do the live, I've got to get Jerry to help me with this, but I would love to have each and every single one of you on so we could dive deeper instead of everybody trying to get their stuff in within 3 hours. Each person have 3 hours to,
when do you want to start?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let me get past Christmas.
Come on.
So, but Pennsylvania just said a good thing too, David. Is that the only time that you encountered the grace?
It was. Yes.
Have you ever had any kind of other experience that made you kind of like step back and think, maybe that was a sign from them?
I mean, we've seen UAPs, UFOs, whatever, but nothing Nothing else that I can recall that like, hey, wait. I had what seemed like a weird thing where I was at one spot and the next minute I was like 2 miles away. That was kind of during a camp out that me and my sister and my wife did, but that was kind of strange. But that was but nothing like that would seem, alien or UFO-y or anything like that. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Do you think that once you had this experience, do you think that was them showing you that, hey, you need to believe in us because we are out there? Or what do you think the whole purpose of your experience was?
I have no clue. That's a good question. I mean, if anything, maybe to show me that they were out there, like you said. I have no clue. I have no clue. Maybe I was the only one awake, and saw it, so they took me. I have no idea.
Oh, that's man. I mean, I wish like I had said before, I wish I could have experienced what you experienced. I mean, does anybody else have questions about his story or his experience? Anybody?
So Mary's asking, yeah.
Okay.
If the red light that came in the room that my whole family knew about, everybody, my mom, dad, my sisters, they all thought that. And I was like, okay, if it was a demonic attack, they want to put fear in you. They want to scare you.
Storm? Or just
For some reason, somebody tried calling me in the group chat.
That's great. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. I think if it would have been a demonic or satanic attack, I would have been full of fear. That's just my thing, and it's very possible. I'm not saying it wasn't, but to not have any bad effects or any fear or anything like that, that personally to me tells me that it wasn't. To me, it was 3 alien beings and 3 Bigfoot.
Do you have any paranormal experiences after that had happened, or anything that has made you feel different?
No.
Okay. That's wild. That's me personally, hearing your experience, it makes me think that they wanted you to acknowledge that they existed. And kind of what, hang on, who was it that was saying that in the chat? Art120796 said, David's whole experience could have been wiped from his memory too, but it wasn't. What if they had wiped certain parts of it? Maybe at that time when you was that young, you was having that experience, but there was something that you saw that they deemed, okay, he didn't need to see that. And you was left with some of these parts to remember, although you didn't remember the full story. You just remember the parts they want you to remember.
Mm-hmm.
That's very possible. That is very possible. I mean, like when you go through a surgery, you don't remember having the surgery. You just remember right before and right after.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Countdown.
Yep. I remember when I got my gallbladder taken out, it was exactly how you said it. You don't remember, but just before and after. But I don't know if it was the medicine that they was giving me for the pain or what, but I have some very, very, very vivid dreams. And it wasn't these type of dreams that you usually have. It was more or less these type of dreams that make you question existence of life and why we are here. And, but, it just could have been really good painkillers.
Yeah.
But
Painkiller.
that's a really good Judas Priest song.
Oh, you heard that? Oh, shit.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry in a good way, I guess.
Audio, David. Audio said, David, tell about where you thought you were in one spot and ended up in another.
Okay, so this I don't know if you guys have heard of the Cascade Mountain Range. It goes from Washington and Canada all the way down. Basically, it becomes the Sierra Nevadas in California. Me and my sister and my wife went camping, and my sister drove her little car, and we were in my truck, and we had the camper shell on it, not a camper, but the shell. Pouring rain. Got up the next morning, and usually my first thing is make coffee, but nature called first thing in the morning. So I walked around the corner where we were camped, was right beside this mountain creek, and it's all big, huge old growth Douglas fir timber and stuff. And so I walked around and got to the edge of that creek and did my morning business. And it was like, I'm going to walk. I could see this old growth log across the creek. So I thought, well, I'm going to walk up the creek, cross that log, and walk back down the creek. First thing in the morning. And I'm literally was like 100 yards from our camp. You know, I could see that tree. So I was like, I walk up there, cross the log, and was walking back down the creek. And all of a sudden, I come to this bank. My dog's playing with a squeaky. I'm sorry. But I'm on top of this hill looking down this bank. And I'm like thinking to myself, what in the world? I was just walking down the edge of the creek. And so my mind started, because we're up in like in the middle of nowhere, and I'm starting to, like that panic kind of mode. Like, where's the creek? The creek's not even there no more. I'm like, okay, what'd I do? And I started trying to think of how I turned myself. And I was like, okay, just turn around and walk back the way you came. And I thought I'll just walk back up across the creek again. And so I start walking. And I come to this road. I just came to this road, and I'm like, what in the world? How am I at a road? And so I'm like, okay, stop and think. So, and literally I did this for like a half hour. Barry's the legend. But anyway, so I started kind of, I was trying to calm myself, but I was starting to panic. Like I could feel my hand shaking a little bit, like what is going on? So I thought, all right, I'm going to walk back down. And so I walk back down, and I'm looking at that bank again, and I stop and I just listen, and I could hear water running. So I thought, okay, that's the creek. And
get off that phone, boy.
I was making sure the eyelids were still open. That's all.
I think
Sorry,
shooting the camera out more too, because that's a little weird behind you.
But continue your story, David.
Jeffrey.
Apologize, David. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. So I could stop and listen. I could hear creek running. So I thought, okay, that's got to be the creek. But my mind was like, why is the creek over there when I was just walking down over here? But I walked over there and hit the creek. I'm like, well, don't look like it, but this has got to be the creek. So I started walking down the creek. And pretty soon I was like, no, this don't look right. Don't do it. Because you're up in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, don't go diving off to somewhere you don't know. So I walked back, got to that bank again, and I could see that road that I had hit. So I walked off the bank and went to that road. I thought, okay, stick to the road. At least you know you're on a road. And it's like a gravel road. So I just start walking down the road. Actually, I was walking up the road, and it came to a T. And so I thought, well, this don't look right. So I turned around and walked like a half mile back down the road, came around a corner, and there was my truck and the camp. And so I was like, I panicked a little bit, ran down there, and my sister and my wife were up. They were already making coffee. I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad to see you guys. And they're like, why? And I was like panting a little bit. I was like, you guys won't believe what just happened. And I told them, well, we drove up the road, and literally So I had walked up the creek, crossed the log, and was walking down the creek. That's what I did that morning. Ended up, I was from there, and I literally, where that T in the road was that I'd walked out to, was literally like 2 miles up the road past where we were camping. So somehow I went from our camp spot, like 100 yards from our camp spot, to like 2 miles up the road, and was coming off the bank on the opposite side of the road that our camp was on. I mean, just like total. I told him, I said, I just went through a freaking vortex. That's how I worded it, like it was a vortex or a portal or something. Too bad I didn't go down the river, but it was, yeah, it was really stinking weird.
Monkey Winch said that's common, David. Amnesia, confusion, loss of time. You got hit with infrasound.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I never thought about that.
I don't know about all that.
I don't either. I know we were in the land of big giant trees and 411. It was like 411. I agree with that.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Strange days indeed in Oregon.
Yeah.
In Oregon.
Oregon.
Lots of bears here.
See, I've always wanted to visit Oregon.
You're welcome, man. There's a place for you if you want to come.
Just end up doing a Sasquatch hunt with David. Squatching with Dave.
Squatching with Dave. We could do it. I'll take you where we had our 2019 experience.
But does anybody in the chat have a encounter they would like to share with us? I know somebody was asking Jeff about what cigar he was smoking.
That was Roger. I responded.
Okay. While out in the woods, wherever, have any of y'all felt the pressure change around you, like when you are driving up a mountain, but while sitting still? Yes, absolutely. I think squatching was answering my question while out in the woods. Yeah, it can be whenever. Because you've heard all of our experiences. Now I think we'll close this out with some of your guys' experiences.
Well, there's a lot of people in there that had them.
Yeah.
If you get Greg on to do one of your interviews, oh, cool. You could go on for.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying.
He's got about 20 years worth of that.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
Monkey Winch said definitely a Bigfoot was hitting a group of us with infrasound. I could feel that pressure in my head, got pissed off, hollered at the Bigfoot, pressure immediately let off. Wow.
Monkey Winch is actually Mary from the PA Bigfoot Project.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
make you a good guest. You got plenty of guests, though.
Greg can out talk a radio.
Really, Roger? I think you could fall in that category too.
Greg was part of the infamous 6-hour marathon.
Oh my goodness, that was
crazy.
I went to bed, woke up, and the marathon was still going on.
Just so you know, we're over halfway there. So
yeah,
I tell you, I've done some after hours messenger chats with Greg that rivaled the 6-hour. And River and David were involved in that too. I think David was about to get clonked over the head if he didn't leave.
I was like, I gotta go, guys.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got that look about 2 times the past 30 minutes.
I'm warming the can of beans up.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
I gotta get up in 5 hours.
Oh,
But I
We might
mean,
get to
it's
nap a little bit, but it ain't gonna be long.
it's 11:30 Eastern Standard
Yeah.
Time. Do you guys want to call it? You think we've had a good
I think
podcast?
we're good. I think we've.
Okay.
You did great, Adam.
Well, thanks, Jeff.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
You did do good, man.
We'll expect you to have a live next Monday.
Oh God. But I want to. I guess I'll take this time to say thank you to Chad, Erica, Jeff, Jerry, and Brother David for being on this podcast, and Miss V for being on for a little while as well. I want to thank the chat. Thank every single one of you for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you guys for participating in the giveaway audio. Please comment on one of my videos or in my community so I can get this out to you. If you guys do not know my YouTube channel, it is Cryptid Fan 94.
Oh, yeah.
Come hang out with me. I will most definitely be back on the podcast with these lovely ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everything that you guys have done.
Get used to it. That's what you're going to be looking at every Monday night, right there.
No,
Yeah, there you go.
I'll just put Darth Vader right there.
Nice.
But love you guys. I've had a great time.
Yeah.
And if you guys need anything, reach out to me. And yeah, I've had a great time.
Same here, man.
thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
There
And
you
I
go.
hope
Monkey
you all,
Winch is on
Merry
tomorrow.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Love you guys. God
God
bless.
bless y'all.
Take care.
You too. Good night, y'all.
Now, you all just ready to fly out of here. Jeez. See ya.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're
I
still
think
here.
his wife pulled the plug.
Are you okay, Chad? You disappeared for a while
He
there.
did.
I thought the old man went to sleep or something.
He was working on it.
So what if I did? But I didn't. But
No,
so what if I did?
you go brush my teeth.
Oops. How did we get from that to that?
Uh-oh.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There you are.
No.
But anyway.
Roger's saying somebody else go live.
Aw. Is he doing a show tomorrow? Do y'all know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't heard nothing.
Let's have a show tomorrow, Squatch and Holler. Later in the evening. Late.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like
Is
after
Spencer?
No, 2 to 3. What's
Spencer?
2 to 3, he said. Around 2
Spencer
or
is
3.
a
is gonna
2, I
be one.
think, right?
Yeah, something like that. I can't do one.
What time is you? What time right now for you, David?
For me,
Yeah.
it is 8:33.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're 10:30.
Yeah, David.
Wow.
It's
Why?
late, guys.
Yeah. Whatever.
Well, they're 11:33.
I gotta get up in like 14 hours.
Wow.
Jerry's like, I wish I had that much sleep.
Oh, boy. That's like I'm used to it.
Oh my God, so Jerry, like that's crazy what you were talking about driving your wife to work today. That's
Yeah.
I'm glad
That's
it
what I'm
ended
doing
up
tomorrow
warmer,
morning, too.
but
But yeah, and don't forget Miss Fisha. I think that's the one Mary's on, so I guess they're
Yeah,
doing the
that's-
show together.
Spencer's going to be on sometime tomorrow afternoon, but we don't have to talk.
who?
Yeah, about 2 or 3.
Who?
Okay, Mary's doing one at 7:30. At
Okay.
7:30, and then she's also
That's
going to be on at
good.
9 p.m. with Miss Fee. So
oh, okay. Wow.
Yep.
We're ready though. We don't have plans tomorrow.
well, we have time open tomorrow night, but I can't go probably before 8:00. We don't want to go over top of nobody, but if
I just might hang out in the background and listen to all of them because they've got some
okay,
good stuff.
David's game, and I know Blackie and Erica game, so we'll just do a
We
show
are.
without it. So
Tomorrow we're good. My schedule's been changing lately, but it's still not like a set schedule with all my training and travel. Oh my God.
it's Christmas Day. Why would you be working?
Well, I won't be working tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. I'm open tomorrow, but And then anything that we do with other channels is probably just going to be watching it. So
The infamous Al has entered the chat.
Yeah, I see that.
Wow.
oh wow.
Brother Al's in the chat. Wow.
And Greg didn't realize he just messaged me. He's on a conference call with everybody. He didn't realize we were still on.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Greg.
Isn't Al his big brother?
Yeah.
Al is his man. That
Maybe
guy.
they're on a conference call together.
They've been best friends forever, and that guy has backed him up on more crazy stuff than.
I think Al is Chad's age. Like Jerry, I think y'all are about the same age.
Probably.
Jerry and Al and Chad.
I was on the phone with Greg for almost 4 hours one afternoon while I was working. That's the beauty of having an earpiece. And I did not know that Al was even sitting next to him. He was so damn quiet the entire time. Till about 3 hours in, and he's like, "Yeah, Al's sitting right here." I'm like,
I need your job. My goodness gracious, you can be on the phone for 4 hours and still work.
Shit.
well, when you're outside working cows, you got a lot of time to
I guess.
listen to stuff. I listen to audiobooks about man-eating tigers and lions while I'm doing most of my
What about the bears? You know, you can read about the bears,
bears
too. Listen.
too, you know.
Oh, Lord.
But
Well,
of course, you know, there was a particular tiger that ate like 540 people in India in the early 1900s. That was before anybody was able to put a stop to it. But
Jeff,
I'm
what
going to
kind,
go to
of
3.5
cows
hours.
huh?
what kind of cows are they?
So I've got Holsteins, which are the big black and whites. I've also got some red and white Holsteins. I've got some of those little brown Jerseys, the happiest cows in the world, but they won't move away from a feeder for anything. We've got a bunch of beef crosses. They're a mix between Angus, Herefords, and then this French crossbreed. It's like 5 different breeds plus whatever the mom is, and yeah, we've got a whole smorgasbord of stuff.
That's way more than I thought I would hear.
We do beef too, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's our side gig. Jerry just got a roast from us this week.
It's in the fridge ready to go in the crock pot tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yummy.
buddy. Beans and corn, taters.
Yeah,
Yummy.
It's going to be good eating.
yep.
Some
Love
vittles.
it. Yeah, I've learned a lot about, like, as an adult, I was never taught to cook that way as a kid or teenager or anything. And then as, like in my 20s, I was like, this is gross. It grosses me out. But then, like, the older I get, I'm like, it's good. And then the older I get, I'm like, the closer to, like, the farm that I can get to my meat, I'm like, that's the better that it is,
All right.
I haven't bought any meat from a grocery store in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
And, it's like, I've outgrown the weirdness to an extent, but I'm learning cuts of meat. Like, tri-tip is one of my favorites to cook. And I've got one. It's been thawing. Tomorrow is when I'm going to cook it. But I love tri-tip. First one I loved was skirt steak.
Oh yeah.
And I don't
You
know.
like
It had
skirt
to have
steak?
been the
That's good.
recipe or something. But like I started out with store cut meat, for the skirt steak, and I loved it. But then tri-tip, I can't think of the other one right now. But there's another one too. But anyway, I've outgrown some of the weirdness, but like, I don't know. It's a learning experience. But I enjoy it more. Like I love cooking, and I love learning about the seasonings and the flavors and but I'm like, this is boss shit. Whenever I can cook a fucking tri-tip steak over the open flame, and I'm like, I love that shit. You know, like I'm like, oh my god, this is gross. I'm touching this meat. I gotta put stuff on it. Blah blah blah. Now I'm like, yeah, fucking, I will do this.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I love
Oh
it,
boy.
but I now like my
F
schedule is so
down. F
it's
down.
like,
F down, Erica. F down.
it's like we're not on the show.
We're devolving.
Yes, we are. We're still live.
No,
Yes, we
we're
are. Look.
Yeah.
We're still live.
not.
Yes,
Yeah.
We are.
Oh, Erica.
Wow. Wow. You heard it here first. Wow.
He's all red.
I love cooking now.
Oh goodness.
We have officially derailed, folks.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh no.
Been done.
Erica, your face is so red.
I guess she thought when Adam left, we were done.
As long as they don't say the D word. Fine.
Well, oh god.
True.
Oh man.
Look at that.
Hopefully
Everybody's
Jerry doesn't get. Oh.
We'll be all right.
cussing like a sailor too. I like that. That's cool.
I think
I lived in Ohio for like 20 years.
whoever's got to come watch this for research is probably going to get bored once they get to like the 3-hour mark. So.
I'll tell you right now, if they stop watching and don't get a laugh, there's something wrong with them.
Y'all need to cut this back like 15 minutes.
And Hillary still hasn't ate her damn pizza.
Hillary, come on!
Hillary, go eat your pizza. All right. I think we can sign off now.
I'll tell you what. Yep, go ahead. Jeff.
I still got to put my kid's Christmas stocking up.
You mean
I've got a super busy day while she's at work tomorrow. So we'll see. I'm not sure what's going to happen, Barry. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow evening, but I'm game. I know Chad and Erica are game.
I don't know about now.
Yes, Barry. She said, I don't know about now.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Bernie, I know Bernie's gung ho. Jeff will be up in the air, but Jeff will be here.
I'll be around somewhere.
Yeah, but
Maybe I'll do a cooking portion.
Cooking portion.
I love you. You're awesome.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still here.
Erica, you just made the whole show just now. That was like the highlight.
We're getting ready to crash out of here pretty quick. So.
I'm getting. River just added me as a group admin to something. What am I adminning?
Are you?
I don't know what I'm adminning.
Erica, potty mouth. Oh, that's awesome.
Well, you're not the first person in history to do it, but this is definitely the funniest.
For sure.
Oh, I guess I'm not ashamed.
I don't know. This shirt is really. I don't know how it's holding on right now.
Oh, I don't know what I said, but I meant it.
Welcome to the. Oh my God.
Here we go.
We're all getting delusional.
She's got the giggles.
That's usually me all the time.
All right. Well, hey, it's a hell of a chat tonight. Great show. A lot of stories. Good people. We'll you okay there, brother Blaylat? Bernie, you okay, Bernie?
Bernie.
Now,
Okay, yeah. We'll definitely try. We'll try to do something tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. Keep your eye peeled for the link. We'll go from there. So,
Sounds good.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Had a ball. You guys stay tuned backstage. I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug.
Erica, go wash your mouth out. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Y'all.
we're heading back.
I'm working on it. I got to find the link here. Where's the link? You can tell I'm half asleep. All right.
I'm getting
Hopefully, we'll
myself-
see you tomorrow night. If not, next Tuesday for sure. Right? Right.
Bye, guys. Love you guys.
Love you. Good night.
Absolutely. Good night. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.